Evening, guys. May have a bit of food in my beard. I've just ate. Wow, what a crazy day, as in good. Relentless, non-stop, just how I like it, baby. Baby! Just how I like it. So, I'm going live today. We arranged this, I think, last week with a guy who goes by the name of Hide and Seek TV, and I think is exceptional and highly underrated. I believe that more people should be watching his work, and I love the way he presents his work. And he also presents things that I've never come across. So I learn from him, and hopefully during this call, he can learn from me, and hopefully we'll both learn from the comments. I don't expect too many people in the live at this time. It's 8:42 my time. Pretty much all my friends in England will be fast asleep now, but we'll have the Americans here, the Canadians, not many Europeans, and then who knows who else is going to be here. Hopefully not Amani Anani and his 17,000 accounts. So again, some of you may have never heard of Hide and Seek TV. You're going to know who he is after this, and you're going to love his work if you do subscribe to him. So I'm going to call him, and we're just going to talk and bounce off each other like I do with pretty much anyone who wants to be on the show. So here we go. I'm going to give him a call. Hope you're all well, guys. There's not many people here now, but a lot of people are going to watch this tomorrow. So I'm going to call him now. Hopefully this works well. Hey, how you doing, mate?
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Let me try and turn you up. I can't hear you that clearly.
Okay.
All right, there we go.
Everything.
There we go. That's perfect. That's perfect. So I just gave a quick introduction into who you are, how much I respect your work. And you and I, we've never had a talk before, have we?
Oh, no, never.
This is the first time I've literally called you. I've obviously heard your voice in your videos, which I think are incredible. For a while now, I've left a few compliments on your videos. I wasn't sure if you knew who I were or anything. But
I know, yeah. I've been seeing you. I watched your channel. I remember you. It was one of my older NBA videos that I did. I mean, that's like one of the first.
Oh yeah, your NBA videos are spectacular, man. Oh my goodness, yeah. I'm gonna go back and watch them again.
Yo, yeah, man. Thanks a lot, man. All praises to the Most High, man.
Yes,
and definitely, bro. Like, I'm actually gonna probably be doing another one this week too. You know, I'm waiting really to see with the whole Kevin Durant thing.
Do you think it's going to go to the Warriors?
I mean, it can go either way because it's a lot of the Warriors. If they trade, they're going to have to give up a lot. And the way they talk, and they're like, we're not really trying to give it up. But you know, you got other teams like Boston. All of the teams that's involved are very symbolic. And I actually have broke down Kevin Durant. I did a whole breakdown on his life a while back. You know, I did it, I think just like a year ago. And it's just like how, you know, his coach back in the day, wore number, you know, he was 35 years old when he got shot and killed.
Yeah, you know? Durant wore 35 at the Warriors, didn't he?
He wore it with the Warriors, and he wore it with the Thunder, which is very symbolic because remember I put that in the videos.
Yes.
Like, when you understand the Thunder, you know, as it's written in the scriptures, you know, the Most High, you know, the sound of the roaring trumpets, the sound of the roaring thunder, you know, and when you understand the Warriors, like I have broke that down before, like how the Warriors is symbolic, you know, in Zechariah 13. When it speaks about the saints of God, it talks about going through the fire, meaning like going through the tribulations and enduring and being tried as gold is tried, you know?
Mate, just so fascinating. Remember when the Thunder had Durant, Westbrook, and Harden?
Like, oh, yeah, exactly. Durant, Westbrook, Harden, Ibaka, Perkins.
Yeah, what a team.
Daquan Cook. They had Cephalosha. Yeah, I remember that team well. Nick Collison.
Yeah, if the NBA wasn't completely like rigged or predetermined or scripted, that team should have walked it.
Oh yeah,
with that roster that they had. It's like the Nets this year, isn't it? When they had Harden, Irving, and Durant, and then they get swept 4-0 by Boston. Like, that's just laughable. Think how many people who are gullible to pro sports that would have annihilated the Nets before the season began at like plus 250. They were a huge favorite, the Nets. And I had the Warriors to win it since December.
Oh, yeah.
And I've got them to win it next year as well. I've got them to win it next year.
Oh, yeah, and the thing is, they're a huge threat. And when you look at Durant, it's deep that you said that. What I was going to talk about, too, notice how, like, I'll be breaking it down about the trades that happen, about the games. Remember, I was showing this, how this stuff is already pre-scripted, predestined, because in First Maccabees, chapter 15, as it's written, you know, it speaks about what? It speaks about how, you know, Israelites were selling out, you know, to be accepted by the Greeks by doing these ritualistic sports.
Yes, exactly. Like, wasn't that the first ever Olympics was in Greece?
Yeah, exactly. And it go back all the way back to Rome and Greece, you know, dealing with the Colosseum.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, people were selling out just to be, you know what I mean, just to get a piece of the pie. Like,
would you say the modern day Colosseum is like an octagon? Like,
well, it's all of the sports when you look at it. I mean, look at the NFL stadium. You know, I was out in Dallas for a while. You know, I was right there. I went to the Cowboy Stadium and I watched the soccer game. But I did a video on that with the Texas shooting that happened. With the elementary school. And it's crazy. I was going to these events live and I wanted to show this stuff live, how it happens.
The Cowboys have the Pentagon, don't they? They have the Pentagon star.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But that's all. But think about, it's all that because it's duality.
Yeah.
And that's the thing we all got to understand. It's good and evil to everything.
It's polarity. It's one of the 7 hermetic principles is polarity, where we need both. We need light and darkness. We need so-called good and evil, like the sun and the moon, all those things that we do need. I don't think the universe functions without duality, to be honest. I don't think it can possibly function without it.
Exactly. That's in Isaiah 45:7. You know,
wow.
The Most High shall make it light and darkness, good and evil. You know, and good in Proverbs 16, it talks about how even the wicked is made for the day of destruction. So
did you say Isaiah 45:7?
Isaiah 45, chapter 45, verse 7.
Yeah, because 457 is the 88th prime, which is an incredibly huge number.
Look at the 88.
Yeah, exactly. How enormous is that? I know it's enormous in Gematria, but the 88 just is... That's when Trump was on the Oprah Winfrey show, where they asked if he would ever run for president. It was in 88, and Trump gets you 88, and a cult, and so many other things get you 88.
Yeah, exactly. And you're right. Yeah, 88 is a high level duality theme as well. It's high level, you know. So when you look at that, that's deep that you brought that up because, yeah, man, that's how it is. The light and the darkness.
Star Wars.
Yeah, it's like without it, and that's what I was going to talk about with the Cowboy Stadium. It's all blasphemy of the Messiah being a cowboy, you know. And Revelation 19, as it's written, you know, that the saints ride upon a white horse with the Messiah. You know, they all have their own white horses. So
I know it's like the last. Did you see the recent photos of Queen Elizabeth between 2 white horses?
Yeah, and look at Beyonce did it too.
Beyonce was sat on the horse. Yeah, and the royal family are obsessed with horse racing, like the royal ascot. They're obsessed with horses. Have you obviously, it's a silly question with your insane, incredible knowledge. The 4 horsemen, like the 4th horseman is the pale horse, isn't it? Which is actually green.
Oh, it's that duality thing, and that's all about the days of judgment. Yeah.
So do you believe right now we're approaching the 3rd horseman, which is famine? Or do you believe we already bypassed that with what's gone on in Africa over the years?
Well, I mean, when you look at the times, though, yeah, I mean, it's all in that. Because look at it, that's in the Apocrypha as well with the second that he gives it. I don't know if it's first. I got to go back. I ain't read it in a while, but I know in the book of Esdras, as it was talking about that the storehouses will be empty, which is talking about the famine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Notice the whole thing. Notice after quarantine, like if you know about like the book of Exodus. Remember during the book of Exodus, you had the quarantine.
Did you see that? Did you see Mike Tyson's 4-year-old daughter who died? She strangled herself to death. She was called Exodus Tyson.
Oh, yeah. See, and and look at why they had to have it strangled, because Acts 5:30, you know, it talks about being hung up on the tree.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly,
being
like
hung
the
up on
hangman
cross.
card.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
she was 4 years old, like the Four Horsemen.
And you see, he got a movie coming out on Hulu next month.
Why they
And
keep doing this,
think,
mate? There's Elvis movie just come out. You had the Queen movie. Now you got the Tyson one. They had the Jackie Robinson with 42. Why are they doing this all of a sudden? Like, there's so many of these movies about
James
these
Brown.
so-called stars. Yeah, James.
Aretha Franklin came out twice last year.
Yeah. So what is that? Is it distraction tactics? Is it?
I mean, it's that too, harvest energy thing too, but at the same time, it's like they be trying to revitalize that power that they look. If you, like, for instance, music. Let's talk about music for a quick second. Music. Look at it. Look at how it's nothing long lasting. J. Cole dropped the album last year. Who's talking about it? Kendrick dropped the album recently. Who's really just sitting here really talking about it?
Do you think the devil's running out of ideas? That's why he's repeating movies and songs and.
It's not that. It ain't about running out of ideas. The theme is it's the awakening that's happening. Like, the Most High said that his remnant is going to return unto him. Because we all been caught up in this, you know, as everybody born in the Matrix, everybody's going to be dumbed down, but we all waking up. So it's like,
they can't stop it, can they? I say they can't stop it. They can only delay it. They're just delaying it.
That's why they call it. They trying to delay it, but it's the virus they're trying to prevent. That's what the whole big disease is about. You know.
But what they see the virus is us gathering knowledge. That's what their biggest virus.
Exactly. You know, like a computer.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
In the cloud.
Yeah.
Put that in the videos. Yeah.
It's funny how Bill Gates supposedly came up with the concept of Microsoft, and then he provided the antivirus. Like, and now it's going on the same thing pretty much now with the actual.
That's deep. You know, that's deep. You mentioned that. That's real deep.
Yeah, but I think if you look at the Microsoft logo, like, have you seen the Microsoft logo?
Yeah.
And what does that remind you of?
I got to see it again right quick. Hold on, let me look it up because it's been a minute. I've seen it. We all seen it. But let me look at it one more time. I'm pulling it up now. Oh, yeah, I see it, like with the 4 squares.
Yeah, and what do the colors remind you of? Like with the fire and the water and the.
Oh yeah, it's all like remind you of like the Baphomet type thing, man.
Yeah, it's connected to the Baphomet, and it's also connected to. I'm trying to break it down here what these 4 are, but it's definitely the 4 elements.
And you know what? And that's deep. You mentioned that, and I don't want to digress. But when you look at it, like elaborate on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, in the book of Galatians, I think it's Galatians 3, if I'm not mistaken. As it's written, how, you know, Israel is under bondage under the 4 elements.
Yeah.
And you know how I broke that down, how as it's written, Israel is as what? The sand of the sea, hint the beach, the water, hint the whole theme of Israel is as the 4 winds of heaven, hint Israel is as the light, you know what I'm saying, the light of the world. It all goes, hint we are as the ground, hint the whole theme of that is talking about what? It's all talking about the whole theme of the elements. That's why Satan is called the rulers of the air. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they call him the Prince of the Air, and then the Fresh Prince of Bel Air slapped Chris Rock, Christ the Rock.
Oh yeah, but what it was all symbolic. When you understand, I have a video on that. When you understand, remember I was saying in Exodus 3:14, like the Most High says, His name is I am that I am. So when you understand Will Smith, when you understand William, hence the will of I am.
Yeah, you've got the lead singer of Black Eyed Peas, who's literally called Will I Am. How they break his name down.
Exactly.
And Prince William was born on summer solstice in 1982, which is 21/6, which is 6 times 6 times 6 is 216. Prince William was born on summer solstice, so he's a guy we need to keep our eye on. Prince William.
You know, that's high level, because when you understand it too, as it's written in the scriptures, how the Messiah was sprouted up nigh in the summer. That's why I had broke down the July 5th birthday. And when you look at discern, that's why they did that on July 5th.
Wow, that's incredible. I see July the 5th as like 5/7, like the 5th of July. And
let me ask you a question. What was this year's NBA season?
Well,
the 75th season.
Yeah, and the upcoming Super Bowl is the 57th.
Exactly.
And Kobe Bryant. Oh, wow. I'm talking about Kobe. I have 17 in the live, 9 likes, and 179's the 41st prime, the age he died.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Kobe Bryant's record in NBA Finals is 5-7. He won 5 out of 7. He's got the 57 as well.
Yeah, and you see, and because that's all symbolic of when you understand July 5th is the 186th day of the year, and the speed of light is 186,000 miles per hour.
And did you know this, bro? I actually didn't know that. Thank you so much for that. You'll have to message me that. But did you know that coronavirus was declared a global pandemic exactly 18 years and 6 months after 9/11?
That's deep.
So you've got the 186 there, mate. You've just given me goosebumps. Can you please repeat that 186?
You have to message me that as well, man.
Yeah, we will. This is beautiful. Like I knew that. I knew like earlier today that this was going to be something special. That I could feel it in my spirit that this was going to be special because your work is outstanding and what I do is pretty good as well. And when we bounce off each other,
man, that's just the spirit, bro. That's
the spirit of you and I together. I can feel it. I can feel like my spirit growing. Hopefully, other people are feeling that. So repeat that 186 again, please.
Okay, so July 5th is the 186th day of the year. And when you understand the speed of light, it travels at 186,000 miles per hour. So hence the whole theme of how, the Son of God is called the light, the way, the path.
Yeah, so Jesus is the light of the world. Yeah.
So you see how deep this is. So
this is so deep.
Yeah, the 186. So that's why, remember I was showing this in Revelation 12. And I did some more videos. I'm gonna do some more this week while I got some time. But Revelation 12, it talks about about the woman being born, when the woman bringing forth the man child who will rule the nation with with the rod of iron, which is talking about Yahushua, Son of God. So when you look at this, how deep it goes, as it talks about, it says the red dragon who sought to destroy him, just like it was during the time with King Herod in the Roman days. It talks about when he came to try to destroy him, he had 7 heads, 10 horns, 7 crowns. The 7 times, it's talking about the United Union as well, which is the system we up against. But it's talking about the 7 times 10, it's the 70s.
That's that's Daniel's 70 weeks.
And then think about it, and think how the 7 crowns is July is the 7th month. So it was showing how during that time was the war that was going to be waged against them. The 1976 is the Chinese dragon year. That's not by mistake.
And this year, I'm like an expert when it comes to soccer. And Wales, like a really small nation in the United Kingdom, they qualified for the World Cup. And it was for the first time in 64 years. And coronavirus was declared a global pandemic on 3/11. And 3/11 is the 64th prime. And Wales flag. Yeah, Wales flag has a giant dragon in the middle of it. It has a dragon in the middle of it.
Exactly. And that's deep. I saw that years ago. Yeah, with the Wales, they got the red dragon. Yeah. So and then soccer, mentioning soccer, notice FIFA 23. You notice how the NBA 2K23. Notice how they pushing that one world order equality between women and men. That's why they're putting with the girl, I forgot her name, that's going to be on FIFA 23.
It's probably Rapinoe. It's probably Rapinoe. She's pushing all the agendas. The girl with the short purple hair?
No, it wasn't her.
Was it Alex Morgan?
Martha?
Maybe it was Martha for Brazil. Funny, her name's called Martha.
Yeah, that's crazy. Let me look up FIFA 23 cover athletes. So yeah, it's her name is Kylian Mbappe, I think is how you say it.
No, Kylian Mbappe is a guy. He plays for PSG.
Okay, Sam Kerr. That's her then. Sam Kerr, I guess is her name.
Oh, well, I'm guessing she plays.
Her name is Sam.
Yeah, I think she's Australian. Yeah, I think she's Australian, and I'm pretty sure she plays for Chelsea.
Both wanted in the NBA.
Yeah, she.
That's crazy.
Wow. Well, yes. Well, Sam Kerr and what we just had, Steve Kerr. Is that what you're saying? win the NBA?
No. I was saying how the NBA is pushing that, that equal gender.
Oh, it's non-stop. I believe.
Gender.
I don't know if you sit right with this. You might disagree with me. A lot of people do. A lot of people love when I say this. I don't know how many people in the WNBA are actually biological females looking at them, but I don't want to get into that with you because you talk.
You know what? No, you're good. I'm comfortable with. Look, bro, you ain't never seen Joanna, man. Come on, man. That came out 2002.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, 20 years ago.
Yeah, notice the 22 thing, and then you push it. They got Brittany Griner in the jail. I'm like, Brittany Griner. That's not a female.
Speaking of two,
a picture of Brittany Griner.
Oh, it's insane, mate. Some of them, it's just so blatant. It's outrageous. Like, I was just talking about Dwayne Johnson's daughter, who just got a developmental contract. That is a man in a wig. But talking about 2002.
Oh, yeah, a lot of them people are. Like,
yeah, talking about 2002. Have you seen the movie 28 Days Later?
It's been a while.
It's 20 years old. It's 20 years old. But I'll break it down for you and tell you just how far this goes back. And we can say it's scripture or whatever we want to call this. To say our lives are scripted, it's scripture, isn't it? That's playing out, in my opinion. But 28 days later.
Everything is the book of life.
Yeah, beautiful, mate. So 28 days later, the movie's this is what it says. It says, after a mysterious virus wreaks havoc in the United Kingdom, a team of survivors tries to cope with the aftermath of the disaster and find security. This was in 2002, right? And it's called 28 Days Later. 28 is a perfect number, and it's the seventh triangular number. It's considered a perfect number. And I always talk about how the calendar, we should have 13 months because 52 divided by 4 is 13, not 12. So we'd have 28-day months, 7 days a week. 28, the seventh triangular. But you know the Pfizer vaccine. We won't talk too much about this stuff because of YouTube, but you get 2 doses of it, and the second dose is 28 days after the first one.
Yeah, that's deep,
and this movie is called 28 Days Later. It could have been 20 days later, 35 days later, 43 days later, but no, 28 days later. And the time between your first and second vaccine for Pfizer is 28 days. Come on.
And you know what, you mentioned 28. If you remember, I don't know if you remember this, but this is like earlier this year or late last year. Remember when LeBron James was playing against the Pistons?
When he got into it. I watched that game, and he got in a fight, and the guy came. Like, he was like a man possessed. They were saying he was like a man possessed. What was his name again? The Pistons player?
Isaiah Stewart. He wears number 28.
Is Isaiah connected to the Bible? Did you have a Bible connection with that?
Oh, yeah. Well, I had broke that whole situation down. Wow. It was all symbolic because as it's written, how the blood shall what? The blood shall, be our salvation, and the whole theme of how he slew blood. As it's written how, the war will be what? The blood of the wicked shall be shed. So hence that whole thing was already displaying all of that. Hence King James had to do this. And then right after that game, he ended up playing the Pacers. I did a deep breakdown on the that Malice in the Palace. I'm like, that was so high level. It was crazy. I had because I remember that as a kid when I'm from Detroit, So
one of my best friends, Jay Sol, is from Detroit as well. So much love to him.
Shout out to him. Yeah, I did a Michigan breakdown. Yeah, I got a lot of videos, man. But that Malice in the Palace one, it blew my mind because the levels to that, like Ron Artest, I had went into him, and I'm gonna explain this real quick. Remember, I was talking about the I am that I am. His name is Williams, right?
Yeah.
So Ron Artest is so deep.
AKA Meta World Peace that they're pushing now.
And that's why I'm about to take it. How he became Meta World Peace down the line.
Okay, I'm excited.
Hence the whole thing, the Malice in the Palace, hence the palace, as it's written how Israel is the kingdom of God.
Yeah.
So,
and we just had Biden. We just had Biden in Israel as well.
Oh yeah, and that's the false Israel. You know what I mean? That because it is the thing. Before we even go into that, it's so crazy because if you're saying you're already in Israel, that means we wouldn't even be going through all of this. The kingdom will already be fulfilled.
Wow.
You feel what I'm saying?
Keep going.
There's nowhere.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, I was talking about meta world peace. He said, malice in the palace. Palace represents the kingdom of God. Which is Israel, the true Israelites. The so-called black man spread it around the world and scattered abroad. And the prophecy is how the Israelites will rise up out of America. That's why America is the world stage. Because it's spiritual Babylon. All the nations, as it's written, flourishes through her. So
and the Vatican's the whore, isn't it? The whore of Babylon.
Oh yeah. The way it all floors come back to the U.S. because like the U.S. is like everything. It's just like the U.S. is like the engine of the car, So it's like everything is just running because of it. The whole world, the Vatican, all of that. Yeah, that's all a part of it.
Can I tell you this? I think you probably know this. Do you know that the Illuminati were founded 5/1/1776, the same year the Declaration of Independence was signed?
Oh yeah, man. That's why I remember I always break down to 76. The reason why they did that was all the blasphemy, because they knew they had their time. Just how Rome had their era before the Messiah come on the scene, they had their time.
Did you know that Prince Elizabeth was born exactly 1,776 days after Prince Philip?
That's crazy. See, I don't even be heavy on England like that, and I need to start looking at England.
Yeah, I'll help you out with that, because you're talking about the palace, and the royal family reside in Buckingham Palace.
Oh yeah, they play a heavy role in everything. Yeah.
Well, I want to ask you this. I'm really want to ask you this. This was my main question that I had in my head for you. I don't really plan anything, but I had this question in my head. So, for example, with like LeBron James and Isaiah, are they aware at all that were going to happen, or completely oblivious to it?
Oh yeah, this is how, and I'm gonna tell you. Yeah, it's all scripted, and on top of that, in Ephesians 6:12, as it's written, this stuff is already established by enemies, by powers in dark places.
Spiritual wickedness.
Everything is exactly in high places. So this stuff is fallen angels. This stuff is real.
The Nephilim.
That conspire against the saints of God, and that conspire against the creation as a totality.
So people like LeBron, do you think LeBron's Nephilim bloodline, or a demon, or regular guy?
I mean, they got stuff, and they got stuff. If he got look, I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna get back to the Ron Artest, but yeah, like LeBron, Stephen Curry, and Nate Thurman. Nate Thurman was a Golden State Warrior back in like the 90s. So Nate Thurman, LeBron, and Steph Curry were all born in the same hospital.
In Akron.
Exactly. All were born in the same hospital. How is that even possible? So I'm like, that could have been a whole lab. Like, it's stuff that goes on, man. How did LeBron, his mom, go to D.C., and then she come out of D.C., and she's like, when she's pregnant, she's like, my son gonna be a superstar.
Yeah, they knew. Like, it was written in the stars. Like Lady Gaga always says, I was born to do this.
Like, look, exactly. And it's a player named Kyle Kuzma. People who know about him.
Yeah, he was at the Lakers, then went to the Wizards, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Then you had a player with him. I forgot the guy's name. I can't think of his name. But anyway, they were teammates in like elementary school. And they was like, yo, way back in elementary school, we knew we'd be on the same team in the NBA. Look at how you speak stuff in the
Yeah, they speak it out loud. It's just whether they're mocking us, or it's just they're doing that. They're not even aware of it. I'm trying to figure that out.
They know, because it's just like they push that because they gotta mislead the whole people to try to follow behind their idols.
Right. So they're completely aware that they're absolutely manipulating the majority of the world. Good. Then I'm going to really keep hammering them.
Yeah, they already know that they wrote. That's why I said that in Romans 2:24. That
wait, 2:24. That's when Russia invaded the Ukraine.
That's deep.
Wow.
That's deep,
Kobe, that's Gianna Bryant and Kobe's numbers as well.
Yeah, exactly. 2:24. Yeah.
Wow, keep going.
In Romans 2:24, it says that how the Gentiles, which is talking about the Romans, the Greeks, the nations, that come out of the the European lineage. When you understand that, it says that Israel will blaspheme the Holy Spirit, blaspheme the name of God. They use them to do it. So that's why they sell out. You know, like they know. That's why people like what's his name? Martin Lawrence. I met a guy that was from DC, and this is some years back. And the dude was like, you know, he showed me the pictures, everything. Like, he knew Martin Lawrence since he was a kid.
Is that him from Bad Boys with Will Smith?
Yeah, Martin Lawrence.
Yeah.
And he was like, he said, yeah, man. He was like, you know, Martin Lawrence was a kid. He would always tell you, I'm gonna be a very famous comedian when I get older.
Really?
So it's like these, yeah. And I didn't have my phone or nothing like to at the time, like to just record him. But he told me that. He was like, yeah, he said that's where he knew he was gonna be special. He was like, he'd crack jokes at the table, all of that, but he was like, yeah, Martin Lawrence, I'm gonna be a real famous comedian when I get older.
So that's incredible. So all the symbolism that they do day in, day out, the same 4 or 5 symbols that they're putting out there, the 666, the one-eyed symbolism, the devil horns, the lightning bolt, and all of that. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Does that, is the purpose of that to cast spells, or is it just honoring their god?
It goes back to that. It all goes back to worshiping Lucifer, but at the same time, it all come down to like the whole thing. Yeah, it all goes to that. You know, like of casting spells, because that's the whole thing. What is the matrix? The matrix it means the womb. Hint, Mother Babylon. You know.
Matrix. It has the word like tricks in it. It plays tricks on you.
Yeah, that's why in Exodus 34:19, the Most High says, all that come out of the matrix is mine. You know, he says he pours his spirit upon our flesh, you know, and it's for the, you know, the flesh that's going to begin to prophesy. So those who are in that remnant of all nations and the Most High pours the spirit out upon them, they're going to revelate. Look at what you're doing, you know?
Mate, right next to me now, I have the book of Revelation.
Yeah, see, Revelation is serious.
Do you think it's playing out right now? Do you think we're experiencing it, or it's?
Oh yeah, of course. Everything is man. Like I was telling you, with that Ron Artez, what I was gonna get to with the Williams, with that whole thing. Remember they said they poured beer on him, and he hint the whole thing how the Messiah is written. He look as if he has hint the whole thing, but the wine is all, you know, pertaining to, you know, receiving the pure spirit, receiving a fulfilled spirit, you know, becoming reborn, renewed. You know what I mean?
And going about you know, you're talking about Williams.
Yes, Ron Artez. Yeah.
Well, Will Smith won his first Oscar for his portrayal of Richard in the movie King Richard, the father of Serena and Venus Williams.
Oh yeah, hit the whole thing. Yeah, hit the whole theme of Richard. That's a serious name as well, because Richard all goes into what? It all goes into like ruler, king.
Yeah, well, it has the word rich and hard in it as well. And the length of that movie is 2 hours and 24 minutes for 224.
Yeah, that's deep stuff, man. You know,
crazy how it's all being done. It has to be God, mate. For me, it's too perfect to say man's doing everything. Is man infiltrating the code? Is that possible, or can they not even do that?
But man is more so just used. You know what I mean? Was just used for you know, the Most High always used people. So like when you understand, going back to like during the time of Genesis, you remember Nimrod is who really began all of the Babylonian system.
Yeah, Nimrod. Yeah.
So all of that, the Babel Tower had the whole thing, the bricks, the layers, had man as it is it all builds this kingdom. You know what I mean? The Most High, he said Israel is as the kingdom. So everything is like, it's always been man, you know, flesh and blood. You feel me? That's why the Most High told us to seek the kingdom within us. You know what I mean? Because the whole thing, that's what the whole shot was about.
So they call it coronavirus corona, which means crown because it's connected to the kingdom?
You know what that means? Yes, and that's why the corona on the sun is what? Rona on the sun is the surface. So hence the whole thing is written, the kingdom of God in the book of Isaiah, the kingdom of God rises like the sun in the west. That's why during 2021, the Bucks had to play against the Suns. The Bucks represent
the Milwaukee Bucks, and they won 4-2 like the beast reigns for 42 months.
Exactly, and you know why? Because this is how deep it goes, the bucks is all symbolic of like, you know how Israel was always in the wilderness, in the spiritual wilderness.
The wilderness, like the book, like the animal.
Which is as it is today. It's the spiritual wilderness is talking about just going through, you know, it's the survival, the testing of faith. So the bucks represent, you know, Giannis and them, that represents Israel, and they basically, what do they call them? Greek freaks.
The Greek freak, yeah. And Prince Philip was born in Greece and exiled. Prince Philip was born in Greece.
Exactly. And if you understand that, hence the whole theme of like basically, no, we don't want to inherit our kingdom. We want to be worshipped and loved in this world we're in. And that's not how it's supposed to go. That's what that whole finals was about. You had Chris Paul, Christ Paul. You had Devin Booker. Booker literally just means what? The scribes, the keepers, you know, the Pharisees thing. And
you also had Prince Philip died at age 99 on the 99th day of the year, and Jay Crowder was playing for the Suns when 99. He always hit 3-pointers.
Oh yeah, exactly. And then he played for the Heat before that. The Heat represents what? Going through the persecution, the fire.
That's why the year Kobe Bryant died. Do you know since Kobe Bryant died, the last 3 NBA finals have finished 4-2, and he died the year he was going to turn 42, and he played 42.
Oh, yeah.
He played 42 minutes in his last ever NBA game, and the year Kobe died, obviously LeBron and the Lakers won the NBA 4-2 on National Father-Daughter Day. The year Kobe and Gianna died, it was the Lakers against the Heat, like water against fire, the 4 elements again. Lakers and Heat.
And what that was talking about was all symbolic of like, you know, the Laker thing. The lakes represents the water. So remember how the Messiah is called the living waters. So hence the lakes, the Lakers. And when you understand this, remember I was breaking down the name Lewis. When you translate praise the Lord, it becomes Lewis Eternal.
Yeah, you got Lewis Hamilton as well, who's won 7 Grand Prix, I think. Lewis Hamilton.
That's why he's the best. That's why he's the best, because the whole thing, the Messiah is the chauffeur. That's why the chauffeur came out. The movie Taxi with Robert De Niro came out in 1976, and he leads us to the kingdom. You know.
And there's Alexander Hamilton as well, isn't there? He worked with George Washington. I think they just made a movie called Hamilton. So you got Lewis Hamilton, and these names have to mean something.
Hamilton, you know, hence the name Ham. You know, Ham. You know, it derives out of Ham in the Hebrew. When you say Savior, hence the Lord is our Savior.
Yeah.
Ham comes out of Ham Mashiach. Is how you say Savior. So Ham, Lewis Hamilton.
Can you break this down for me? There's a football team in England called West Ham. West Ham. What do you get from that?
I have to look. Well, I mean, it can be the same thing but I have to go into the context. But like, you know, the West, like I said, the kingdom of God rise like the sun in the West. That's why when you understand the USA, you have St. Louis, and then St. Louis goes all the way out. This is how deep it is. I'm going to explain.
St. Louis, the location, okay.
Yeah, hear me out.
Yeah.
St. Louis goes to all the way out to the West Coast. It goes all the way out west to Cali, right? So if you look at the NFL teams, remember Los Angeles Rams?
Yeah.
They started out there first. The Rams, as it's written, the Most High said, "My sheep knoweth my voice," right?
And the Lord is our shepherd.
Exactly. The Messiah is our shepherd, and my sheep knoweth my voice, hence the Rams. So they go from LA, which is the desert. They go from LA, that's like the desert, the wilderness.
And it's Los Angeles, which translates to the angels.
Exactly, the angels. So yeah, when you look at it, it goes from the Rams, they come to St. Louis, right? And then they go back out to Cali. So that's how deep it is. And when you understand Louis, that's why they had the St. Louis Royal Ark out there, the gateway, because the Messiah is our gate.
What symbolism? I actually predicted the Super Bowl 56 scoreline and who'd get the first touchdown. It was 2023, because I think next year is going to be off the charts.
Oh, yeah, that was the score, right?
Yeah, it's 2023, which is next year.
Oh yeah, and you know 2023 is a serious year because you know about the number 47.
47. That's the Freemason compass is set at 47 degrees, but 47 is huge.
Blasphemy is like reaching that higher. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta remember how everything they do is as it's written in Psalms 118:22. The builders, which is talking about the Illuminati Masons, they reject Messiah from being the headstone. Remember, I always break down how 76 degrees is the headstone.
Yeah, and then the Georgia Guidestones came down on 7/6 on George Bush's 76th birthday.
Exactly, and the whole theme of that. So it's like when you understand that 76 is very important. So
and didn't LeBron James overtook Kobe in the scoring charts the night before Kobe died, and he did it against the 76ers, didn't he?
Oh yeah, that's what they're thinking. But yeah, exactly. And like I was saying, like the headstone when it's removed, that's them rebelling because they're like that's why they have an all-seeing eye. So when you go into Kobe, remember he was riding, and he was a blasphemy of the Messiah too. They all blaspheme his likeness and his name.
Yeah, have you seen all the 666s with Kobe? You probably know them all, so I don't want to repeat myself.
Yeah, of course. But that's 666, and that's the thing too. What does 666 stand for? As it's written, remember let me go back. Remember Isaac Newton calculated, the whole thing. Remember he did the whole theme of the calculations.
Yeah.
And it all will calculate the name of the beast.
Yeah, the number of the man, number of the beast, 666.
Oh yeah, and what does it say? That the number that the beast come in and blaspheme the name of God. And when you understand that, that's why everything is Lewis. When you look at, remember I put that all in the videos. Remember I showed this.
Yeah.
When you translate Yahushua from, when you translate Yahushua from the Hebrew, the letter J didn't come around until the 16th century. So when you understand, remember the letter L was always used.
And so J is the 10th letter of the alphabet, and God in Gematria is 10, and so is Satan.
Exactly. That's why when you translate the the Y into the L, it becomes Lewis in the language. So when you look at it, how deep it goes, hence the whole thing of why they why everything you watch, like you got, like we just said, Lewis Hamilton. Who else? You got Louis Armstrong. And he plays the trumpet because Messiah come to blow the horns of the horns of salvation. As it's written, he is our horn of salvation.
That's and his most famous song was "What a Wonderful World," wasn't it?
And that was talking about the creation. It's all blasphemy. But what he was trying to say was how the Masons is going to create their kingdom, Satan's kingdom. But it's blaspheming. You know what I mean?
Because God ultimately, God's in control and he wins. I say God's the creator, Satan's a creation.
Oh yeah, but Satan, the battle, and this is how deep it goes. The battle is not between Satan and the Most High. The battle is between the Son of God and Satan. You know what I mean? That's why he said, I will be in Isaiah 14. What did he say? He didn't say, oh, I'm going to be more higher than the Most High. What did he say? I will be like the Most High. Meaning that he want to be equal to that because he understands the inheritance that the Son of God gets, that Yahushua has. He has heir to rule in the kingdom. Satan hates that. But everybody, like I said, everybody gets their portion. The wicked gets their portion and the righteous should get their portion. So they have their time now, but like Satan ain't trying to go head to head with the Most High. He already know. That's why he wanted to, what's the whole thing? He wanted to be greater. Like I should have been the chosen one. Does
Satan hate humanity because humanity is God's greatest creation?
Yeah, because as it's written in the scripture that we're God's image. And as it's written too.
It says in God's image.
Yeah, and human is God's image. Yeah, the angels is already made. Humans is God's image. So that's higher. That's why, I got to go back in Romans. In the book of Romans, it speaks about that. It says how we shall judge the angels in the kingdom because we're God's image. We're going to rule. That's why the Messiah is what? The Son of God, Son of Man. You feel me?
It's funny how all sports have rules as well.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all about that. It's all about, that's why Satan, everything operates through people because we're God's image. Hence, Hollywood uses stars, which is all blasphemy.
I thought the stars were the fallen angels.
It's that too, but it's all blasphemy because remember the Most High said, his people are as the stars of heaven. So that's why humans, what do? We want to go to Hollywood to be a star.
Yeah, the average person wants to go up and be a star, don't they?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. The people who are misled, the ones who are misled, and you got people who wake up, the Most High and woke up in that path, who like, hold on, I see what this really is.
This is absolutely incredible. Can I ask you how how you came about gathering this knowledge. I've told my story a million times on my channel. I don't really have to do it again.
Yeah, I saw that you said your name was Adam and everything. Yeah, I watched that.
Yeah, but I was born on my father's birthday as well, like father and son. And now I always talk about my spirit. I was born on my dad's birthday. It's the 31st birthday, and 31 is the 11th prime, my favorite number since a child, and my football jersey number. And I would have never have known that if I didn't come across this information. And I feel like I've been chosen in a sense. I'm not saying I'm the people get the knickers in a twist. Like I'm not the chosen one, but I feel like I was chosen for this journey.
And I respect that. I respect what you just said. And you know what? On Lord willing, we all are, and like we all doing the work. We all pushing it, and we're coming into the revelation, understanding. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we are chosen. You know, to be able to. You're chosen for a specific reason, like you said.
Yeah. When you get close to God, when you truly get close to God, which I feel I am, obviously, that's just what I feel. I truly believe it, and I try every day to get closer to God, and I believe at this point that when you do feel God's presence and that spirit, and that He is the Almighty, and you trust the process, you believe He is completely in control. I have no fear of anyone or anything, and if the world goes to complete chaos, like it likely will, I have no fear of it, and I'm actually kind of excited because God's got to destroy sin, hasn't He?
Oh yeah, that's written. The world should be destroyed, man, and it should be the new heaven and new earth.
That's why they say not to get too attached to earth and your possessions, not to get too attached.
Yeah, that's why I said be in the world but not of the world.
Be in. Say that again. Say that again.
Be in the world but not of the world.
Be in the world but not of the world. Wow, I love that. Yeah, because you can't completely just like people say to me. If you're saying all this, then leave your apartment. Stop charging people $10 for your website. Just go be homeless and just pray to God. I'm like, no, because I'm not obsessed with materialism. I'm not obsessed with money. I believe that we do need it right now in this beast system. I believe money is currency and currency is energy. And we do need it without being obsessed. So again, sorry, using my memory is incredible. Say that again about the world.
Yeah, be in the world, but not of the world.
In the
world.
And
then the money thing, that's why they turn everything digital, because remember the Most High says, and store your treasures in heaven. So that's why they're making everything digital. It's all blasphemy of God's kingdom.
So this matrix right now, because God ultimately controls Satan, because he completely does, but he allows him to reign in this planet, on Earth. He gives him the opportunity to reign and basically take the reins, like Roman Reigns, the WWE champion, Roman Reigns. That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's why he's the world, heavy.
The world heavyweight champion, and his special moves, the spear.
Yeah, that hint the rod, blasphemy, and then hint the whole thing of how, what do they call it? The head of the table. Hint they want to be the head of the table.
Yeah, and they call them the Brotherhood as well, which is very Masonic.
Yeah. Exactly, the Brotherhood.
And I think he's got a T-shirt implying that he's like more important than God. Roman Reigns as a T-shirt.
Yeah, he's Roman Reigns. WWE is high level.
Oh, I've done many videos. I'd love to do a live one time with you and break it down. My knowledge of WWE is outrageous. I could go on all day. And did you see my Ric Flair decode?
I have to watch that.
Yeah, I won't even break it down now. But basically, from his wrestling debut, professional wrestling debut, to his upcoming final match, is 666 prime, and Ric Flair was born in 49, and that means he's currently 73, and 4,973 is the 666 prime as well.
Yeah,
and he's known as the GOAT, which is the Baphomet. He's known as the greatest of all time.
And he do the whistle, then he do the woo.
Yeah, he went woo. Yeah, he did all of that, and he was called the Nature Boy. You got nature, and then they're talking about climate change now.
You know what the Nature Boy is? Yeah, that too. And the Nature Boy all goes to the Pan God.
Pan, yeah, that's why you have the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. Pan, the God Pan, nothing but Lucifer. His whole ideal is to do the things with children, because what did he do? He want to lure the children of God away from the kingdom. As it's written, you come as a little child, you inherit the kingdom.
And hell's capital city is called Pandemonium, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's a demonic paradise called Pandemonium. You're pan, and pan in Spanish is bread, which connects to Jesus.
It's all blasphemy because hence the whole thing, man should not live by bread alone, which is saying, bread is just knowledge and understanding with, knowledge. But bread, you want to have water and wine, to digest it.
If you just have bread, you become stuffed, don't you?
You get thirsty. If you in a desert and I bring you bread, you're gonna die of thirst.
You're gonna die within like 3 weeks. But with water, with water, if you don't drink for three days, what is it? How many days is it where you can go without water before you're pretty much done? Like in the desert.
I think it's like 3 days.
It's 3 days, yeah. If you're in the desert, you can pretty much go 3 days, and then if you don't have water after that, you're pretty much gone. Whereas food you can go way longer than 3 days in the desert if you have water. And the majority of the time that you're hungry, you're actually thirsty as well. You're not actually hungry, you just need a drink. You have a glass of water, you're like, oh, I feel fine now. You think you're starving and you have a glass of water. Water, which is what we are and made up of in general, is so sacred, man. It's my actual favorite drink. People always ask me in my lives, what's your favorite drink? An ice cold water is just glorious to me. H2O.
Oh, yeah, man.
So refreshing.
Water is amazing.
And when you jump in the water, like when I go in the ocean, because I actually live in the desert, which is another funny story connecting it to like the Middle East and Jesus. I live in the desert. And when I jump in the pool or the ocean, it's absolutely, I say the word glorious often. It's truly glorious, that water.
Yeah.
Heavenly.
England, right?
Yeah. I went snorkeling. I went snorkeling yesterday on this private island, and it was just swimming with these beautiful fish, and it was so peaceful. I was like, my word, this world is just so hectic and go and competing, and I don't think it's meant to be this way. Or maybe it is if it's scripture, but I think this universe is so incredible.
But that was never the intent, though, But like even in
that's true.
I believe it's Genesis 10. I think it's Genesis 10, Genesis 6. When the Most High said that he even repented unto himself for making man, like he regretted it.
Yeah.
So he saw, he said he saw a man after his own heart, Noah, who really sought for him. Because if it wasn't for that, he said that he really regretted it. It repented to itself. Like,
that's
man
true.
Is so evil, man, because we literally always in a war between good and evil in ourselves. It's like,
because wasn't originally the Garden of Eden like basically perfection, and then Adam and Eve infiltrated it.
It was just that Adam that's why the Messiah is called the second Adam. What it means by that is like the whole thing of how he overcomes death, he overcomes sin, and he will rule. That's what it means. But Adam, that's why the Masons call themselves the sons of Adam. It's a show called Lovecraft. The wife on there, the girlfriend, her name is Lewis. And on there they was fighting. The whole thing was just showing how they fight, using the power of God, the power of the spirit, the power of wisdom, the battle against the Masons. That's why the whole show was called Lovecraft Country. And the Masons on there were calling themselves the son of God. They would call themselves the sons of Adam. Not sons of God, my bad, but sons of Adam.
Wow.
And they all want to be the God man, because Adam, he died, but he lived at the same time. Like you can die, but you can live in the flesh. This can be your kingdom. They're deceived, man.
Mate, can you believe that? Can you believe my name's Adam, and Adam in Gematria is 26. God's 26. There's 26 letters in the alphabet. But check this out. You will love this. All those 26s connecting with God, with myself, with the alphabet. I've studied Gematria. My Patreon out of nowhere, got deleted on 26, 2 months and 6 days after my birthday.
That's crazy.
And when that happened, a part of me smiled because I figured out the 26 connections. And isn't iron the 26th element as well?
Yes, I was just about to say that, yeah.
So like that for me was that I think God, although I lost like, oh my goodness, I was making $2,600 after tax, 26. I was making so much money on my Patreon because I was doing, in my opinion, without being arrogant, because I think sometimes it's okay to be a little bit self-confident. I was doing really, really good work on my Patreon, and I was hitting sports left, right, and center, putting out all this content, created this amazing family. And I actually think God was telling me, you're giving too much energy to like maybe sports, and I want you to go further with this. And then basically when my Patreon got deleted on 26, 2 months and 6 days after my birthday, the night before is when I found this book of Revelation, and I did what I believe was my most powerful video about Kobe Bryant, coronavirus, and Revelation the day after my Patreon went. So I don't know if it was God's work, Satan's work, man's work, combination. I'm trying to figure it out.
It's all blasphemy, the sports.
What about this then, bro? What about this? So I messaged you this. When we were messaging, because you've actually gone up now, good work. Like you had 3.03 thousand subs, right? 303.
And that's crazy. As soon as you said it went to 4. Yeah, but
yeah, it's gone up, which is, I was kind of disappointed and happy at the same time for you. It's gone up. But when we were messaging and doing this, you had 3.03, and my Patreon got deleted when I had 303 patrons. And then a guy reached out to me called Gabriel, like the archangel, who had never spoken or seen in my life, right after my Patreon got removed, saying he wanted to design me a website. I have my own website now, and I have like 78 people signed up. So thanks to all of them. And then one of my closest friends, like a week after, came to where I live because he spends a month here for vacation. He's a teacher in Los Angeles. And I went to his apartment. I said, what's your number, mate? It was like 303. I was like, stop joking, because he watches my live streams. And I'd recently done a live about 303. And he went, no, bro, 303. I was like, all right, I'm going to knock on it, but I'm pretty sure you're not going to be there. Mate, his room, and he's still here to this day. He leaves next Wednesday. He leaves on 8/3 on Tom Brady's birthday. And his room's 303. And the guy who helped me with the website is from Colorado, whose area code is 303.
That's deep stuff.
And I had my awakening age 33, and I was born on 33 date numerology, and coronavirus was declared on 11/3. 11 times 3 is 33. And that's what basically woke me up. That and Kobe's death. And Kobe wore number 33 at high school. So,
oh, yeah, Laura Marion. Yeah, he was in Philly.
Yeah. So all these 33s with me, like this 33 vertebrae in your spine, monkeypox is 33. It became a global emergency exactly 33 weeks before the 3-year anniversary of coronavirus. It's like this for me. I just believe it's God, and you can't stop it. This type of stuff.
Yeah, the sign, like you said, he's sending signs and and wonders. You know what I mean? And the whole thing, like, yeah, we have to be aware of the signs. That's why we want the eyes to see, ears to hear. Because everybody is seeing it's different. Everybody's not going to be the same, but it's all boiling back to the same thing. It's some more simpler than others, and some things can be so complex, but it's literally simple because it's all 1, 2, 3.
That's what Michael Jackson, like ABC easy as 1, 2, 3, and
yeah.
Gets you 6. So how do you, in your opinion, then? So you and I can't sit here like we know everything. The smarter you get, I think, the more you realize you don't know a lot.
Yeah.
Why does someone like you and I like see what we see, and other people are still falling for the mainstream and believe in everything that's coming out of a politician's mouth or everything that a journalist is saying or celebrity?
Yeah.
Why is that? Do we have a say? Are we chosen? Is it written in the book?
That goes to what we were just talking about. Like the Most High said, he blessed those with the eyes to see and ears to hear. And then he said that he'll hand them over to a reprobate. The people who can't see and understand, say like some people are going to wake up later on.
Yeah, there's different state and there's different levels of waking up as well.
Yeah, because that all goes. It's a parable in the scriptures. It's like a riddle, very parable riddle that talks about that. When the Messiah was saying, everybody basically gonna do the same work, and some gonna start earlier than others, and you all will get the same amount of money, like a dime. And when somebody come in later on making the same money you're making, you can't complain about it. So they was cool about that. And basically, when everybody else started coming in later on, it was a scuffle. Like, man, I've been working here doing this 50 years or whatever. And he was like, you agreed that everybody get the same portion, which was all symbolically saying was, you know, you might be doing the works longer than other people, like, but you might have somebody come in 8 years who knows just as much as you do, or who get the same reward. Just
yeah, I was gonna say, I always tell people it's not how long you've done something, it's how quickly it's how quickly you master it.
And it's just like all about the whole portion is what gaining eternal life. So it's like we're blessed to be able to see. We're blessed that we in. Because like it says, many will depart from the faith as well when the day of testing really hits up, when it really amps up. So it's like, Lord willing, we stay strong in the faith and we keep in him, because we don't want to be tempted. Anybody can be tempted. You know, I meet people all the time. They'd be like, yeah, man, you know, I was playing the game the other day and it was one dude, he hit me up. I had him up. He wanted a rematch with it. I was like, yo. And he was like, yeah, man, you know, I'm going to go get my shot today. I'm like, people still doing this when it's so much information that's been out here.
I want to say something So there's a guy in my chat called 6079 Smith W, and I think he does incredible work with numbers, spectacular work. And Kobe Bryant, his name's 113. He was drafted round 1, pick 13, 113. His NBA debut was November the 3rd, 113. Wrote Dear Basketball, which is 113 in Gematria. Coronavirus declared a pandemic 11/3 a few months after he died. So speaking of shots, we can't get into it. You know how it works on YouTube. But Kobe Bryant, this is 6079. I would like to say this isn't me. He said Kobe Bryant has taken the most shots in the NBA ever.
Oh yeah. He has.
You knew that? Okay.
Okay. Course, yeah.
Wow, I built that up so high, and you already know it. I apologize.
No, you're good. And the thing is too about Kobe, and shout out to dude. And the thing is too about Kobe, when you understand him too, is I was watching the show. I had got some clips. So I had to do a little. I like to always, it said, let us watch and be sober. That let us. It says it's written in Thessalonians. Let us watch and but be sober. And be not like the others. You know what I mean? Who can't see this. So when I was watching it, it's the Lakers TV shows back in the 80s. It's called Showtime on HBO Max.
They literally call it Showtime, don't they? It's a big show.
Oh yeah,
they call it Showtime, or the NFL says, like, I hope you enjoyed the production.
Exactly, and the thing is too, on the show, Kobe Bryant was at a Laker game. His dad was on Philadelphia at the time, and Kobe Bryant was at the Laker game as a kid. Like, he was like 2 or 3 years old.
Yeah, it's like Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, used to always go watch his father wrestling when he was younger. The cameras would always zoom in on him. Here's Rocky Jr. It's like they build it up. Like,
exactly. It's just like that. Like, they already played plant. So it's like, Rock, notice he's more famous than his father ever was.
The Rock's The Rock may be the most famous person alive right now.
Right now, entertainer, like, out of sports.
Yeah, because he dominated $1 billion industry in professional wrestling at its peak.
Oh yeah, and wrestling is every sport. Notice every athlete, every entertainer, like Kevin Gates was just on AEW. So it's like.
And have you noticed that a lot of these top stars, Goldberg, Roman Reigns, The Rock, they all played like high level, like football.
Oh yeah,
like college.
That's what I'm saying, and that's why I remember Ronda Rousey. Notice how I had the UFC breakdown. Notice how either they go to WWE or they leave WWE and come back or to another sport.
Well, the best example, bro, is the Beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar. He goes in between wrestling and UFC all the time. The Beast.
And he was a football player.
And he was a footballer, and he tried out with the Minnesota Vikings, I think.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar is a freak athlete, man. It's like the older he gets, the better he gets.
I was going to ask you this. There's a few other things I want to ask you. And just with me, mate, I don't think I know it all. I would rather be ruthlessly honest. And if there's things you think, what's he on about, tell me, all right? So a few things I want to ask you here is this.
Right.
So the likes of Lesnar and The Rock and John Cena, all of these like top stars who never seem to age, or they get better with age, like physically, and
Like
LeBron, who's been playing like pretty much like half of his life in the NBA, pretty much all the time goes deep in the playoffs.
I grew up watching LeBron. Yeah, I was 7 when he came in the league. I'm 26 now. That's 19 years.
There you go. Yeah. And he's still like one of the best players in the league. He just knocked down 42 points, by the way, in a game with that.
Yeah. You saw that, and I had zoomed in on it. You can see 7'6" in there. It was crazy.
Yeah, and 7 times 6 is 42.
Exactly. And 42 is deep because when you understand number 42, it deals with iron. And as it's written, how the Messiah looked as if he was burnt in the furnace.
Yeah.
Iron, the 42. And that's why they use it.
And that's why they say about they actually said in LeBron James in that game that LeBron was on fire when he got 42 points.
Yeah. And that was the Drew League at that too.
Yeah, which they say was all about charity and helping underprivileged kids, the things they always push. Whilst they're doing rituals, whilst they're cheering on basically these satanic puppets. LeBron James in Gematria is 42 as well in the purest cipher.
Oh yeah, King James. Yeah, and I'm gonna say this before, I ain't mean to cut you off, but like,
no, do it.
Definitely hear the question. Yeah, I want to hear this question.
Oh yeah, my main question with those people, like, are these fallen angels? Are they getting substances that we've never heard of? What is it? How are they able to do this? Because wrestling, bro, wrestling in the 50s and stuff, that people say it is predetermined, but mate, the stuff they do in a ring, if you ever take a bump, I took a bump one time in a wrestling ring. I couldn't breathe. I landed on my back and I couldn't breathe. So what they do is they're exceptional athletes. Some of the best athletes in the world are wrestlers. How are they able to like come back at like mid-50s, wrestle a guy mid-20s and destroy him and look great?
Like Booker T just came back.
Booker T, the King Booker, King Corona, Crown.
Yeah, exactly. And they had the whole thing too about what is it? It's all blasphemy on that with Booker T too, but and the whole thing. That's why a lot of them go to the Germans. Remember, Kobe went to the Germans. Wade, a lot of them. LeBron spent $1 million on his body. So it's like a lot of these people, like, definitely are. They definitely are being altered. Like, because LeBron, if you look at, let's just go back to the '90s when NBA was really just getting like hot.
Yeah, that's when it started really getting popular, like with the mainstream, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's why. When you look at it, say you got somebody like, who can I just throw anybody? David Robinson, for instance, who played on the Spurs.
San Antonio.
Yeah, he was a monster.
Yeah.
But he was in the Navy. All of them got military backgrounds too. He was in the Navy. He came out. He wasn't even that tall in the Navy. He came out the Navy. He's like 7 feet tall.
What are they doing then? What are they giving him, like health hormones or what?
Yeah, it's definitely doing science to that. Like, because like you said, wrestling is fake because it's scripted, obviously, but it's real. Like, you have this. If you fight say if an average person fight a wrestler, you're going to get hurt severely.
Yeah, these wrestlers, and my mate sent me a video today. Much love, Red Pill Monkey, amazing guy. So do you remember Lex Luger? Do you remember Lex Luger, like the greatest body in wrestling? Well, one of them, Lex Luger.
I ain't even gonna lie to you.
He was around during like the heyday of Hulk Hogan, basically. The heyday of Hulk Hogan.
I caught on like early 2000s.
Like okay.
Eddie Guerrero era.
Your Guerrero and Benoit, and then they died really short. Like I've done a video about Benoit.
Mr. Kennedy and all them.
Mr. Kennedy. But
it was crazy.
Yeah. But this Lex Luger was like like a Greek god, like an Adonis. And he had this like massive ego, and he was having an affair on his wife, and he was taking drugs and living this insane life. My friend sent me this video of him recently where he's basically found God, and he said, Adam, I know that you say all these athletes, they're deceivers, they're fake. He said, when you truly have the Spirit, Holy Spirit in you, you're going to see that what you're saying here is real. And he said, please watch the whole 10-minute interview. And the first 5 minutes, I was like, this seems really staged. It seems put on.
Why I got to be interviewed? Hey, why I gotta be on camera, you know?
Yeah, but then the last 3 minutes of it, mate, when he was talking about God and the Bible and how he regrets what he's done in the past, like, mate, I could feel it, and it's my level of discernment is so high, like I'm sure yours is, so high, where I can sniff bullshit out, like from miles away. And I was like, oh my God. So he said his words were this, and he's really good with his words. I can't memorize them. But he sent me so many messages, it'll be hard for me to find them. But he's saying, like, even these top stars, these top stars, and they may have deceived us, or they may have been satanic, and they may have done things that they really shouldn't have done. And he was basically saying that you have all these wrestlers, they've come out and talked about finding God. You have a lot of them now who, I want to thank God for this Oscar. They're talking basically about Lucifer.
When they say about the Oscar,
yeah, they're talking about
you gotta remember too, the prophecy as it's written, we can be forgiven for all sins, but blasphemy against the Holy Spirit.
Yeah,
and a lot of them are so deep into this. Like, this stuff is not. That's why the Most High said that He'll judge the children, you know. And it's sad because the whole thing, the kids, it ain't mean they gonna just, die young, or He can literally cast them into a reprobated mind to where they get further into the rabbit hole of this.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's sad. Like, a lot of them entertainers, one, you got to put this on the camera. Anything that's on that camera is staged, you know?
Anything on TV is staged and predetermined.
You know what? You need to watch this movie called Old Boy. It came out in 2013. I did a deep breakdown.
That's when Jorge Mario Bergoglio became Pope Francis, 2013.
Yeah, bro. On that movie, though, the guy, I don't want to. I mean, you can watch it, but I mean, the guy basically is a guy who was like a bully in high school.
Yeah.
Right. So basically, down the line, the guy who used to bully, he was ultra rich. So what he did was he had a hotel system, and he basically he got him kidnapped, put him in a hotel, had him there for like 20 years. And the guy was like, "Yo, my baby," he had a daughter who was so young, probably like a year old. So when he in there, the guy got her on his TV, on the news. He got fake parents. He got a fake daughter on there. The guy don't know what his daughter gonna look like. He only saw her when she was a baby.
Yeah.
So she look like she's 5, look like she's 10, look like she's 15, etc. So when he finally get out and all the stuff is exposed, he come and do these things, and he basically come to find out, he came across this girl when he first escaped from the hotel, and the girl he found was actually his daughter, but he didn't know that because, he wouldn't know what she looked like as she got older.
Exactly,
so they started liking each other. Yeah, they liked each other.
Wow, he fell in love with his daughter?
He didn't know. You know what I mean? It was like, I don't know, he slept with her and all of that because he didn't know. The dude basically did that because his parents was into the incest, So he basically wanted to get revenge on him. And the whole time, he was like, look, hey, the guy told him when he thought that he found his daughter, the one that was on the TV, he was like, the whole time, man, I was a paid actress. I had her on payroll since she was a kid. Those parents were fake. He was like, yo, he said the problem is everybody believe everything on TV. He said,
they do, don't they? The majority do. Yeah. I break it down this way, that it's kind of funny, not completely correct in what I'm saying here, but it's like, they portray the news to be real and movies to be fictional, but there's more truth in movies than in the news.
Oh, and no, it's more truth in that news, too. Because when you look at the news, bro, I was doing breakdowns. I do a lot of local news breakdowns. When you look
What about national? What about national news like CNN?
Oh, yeah. All of that stuff, man, everything is media. When you understand the word media, it derives out of the Medes, which was, the ancient Babylon, the Mede Persians. All of that come out of it. What they used to do was they used to use imagery and sound to disrupt the people. You know what I'm saying? So that's what Medes come out of. And you remember Medea? Medea?
Is that a goddess?
Like Tyler Perry?
No, go on.
I don't know if you ever seen that. Tyler Perry, the one who walked around dressed up like a woman.
There's so many celebrities that do that. It's outrageous. Is that because they're telling? Is that because they're telling you? They're telling you that they're biological females, or is it again the polarity?
No, it's not really. It's not that. It's more so. I mean, some might be. Obviously, you already know that, but it's like no. When they do that, it's actually better in their world when a man become effeminate because it's all Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah, but Sodom and Gomorrah got destroyed, didn't they?
Yeah, by fire. That's why America is just written share the same fate. You know, so.
And how soon, bro? I think that's like within our very soon, like definitely before 2030. What do you have any timelines on anything about like?
You know what? I need to start doing that, and I'm gonna start. I need to. I be just doing like a lot of breakdown. I need to start. You know, I'm gonna have to get in deep prayer on that. That's the Lord's. You know, to reveal that to me.
Yeah.
If it's in His will. You know, I don't want to just go out here making videos.
The wheel of fortune.
This is gonna happen. Yeah, I want to actually have it to where the Spirit I'm led to know.
Yeah, you're not going to force it. God doesn't want you to force things, does He?
And then I'll be misleading people. You know, I don't want to have false. You know, just to sound smart. You know. You know what I mean? We got a lot of people out here doing that with these channels. They want to just sound smart, and a lot of them be agents, man.
Yeah, a lot of them are agents, and a lot of them are doing it to feed the ego. Like my goal every day is to get closer to God and help other people do it, and everything else is a bonus that happens in my life, or just stuff I have to get done. Shit, I got to get done. But that's my ultimate goal, man. Now is like just to get closer to God, and like I'll give you an example of here. I've not shared this with anyone yet, but I'm gonna share it with you and the people in the chat now. So the New Testament has 7,957 verses, and 7,957 is the 73rd pentagonal number, and most people have never even discussed pentagonal numbers. But I looked into them because you've got the Pentagon, you've got the the Pentagon in regards to the star, and then the Pentagon like with 9/11 and all the stuff with the Pentagon, and it's the 73rd pentagonal number, 7957, like there's 7,957 verses in the New Testament, and 73 is like Prince Philip was married to Elizabeth 73 years, Tom Brady 7-3 in Super Bowls, Steph Curry was born on the 73rd day of the year. What else have we got? The 73s. Prince Charles is 73 right now. The Superior General of the Society of Jesus is 73. There's all these 73s, and when I saw that, I'm like, now the 73s are making sense because it actually connects to the New Testament. Are you still there, bro?
Yeah, I'm listening to you. I was listening to you.
And then you got, like I said, Ric Flair's coming out of retirement at age 73. So,
are you coming out of retirement?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's coming out of retirement on the 31st of July, which is 317, the 66th prime when the Church of Salem was founded in 66. And
you know what? That's deep. You said that because, as it's written, that old serpent Satan, the devil, shall be cast down. Notice how he's coming out of retirement. Remember the show Squid Games? I had broke that down.
Wow, and I think Ric Flair had a rivalry with Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yeah, but you see, Jake the Snake, Jake don't mean nothing but Jacob, the 12 tribes of Israel.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And then the snake represents, as it's written, how the Messiah in John 3:14, he's the bronze serpent healing our sins that was lifted up in the wilderness by Moses. It's all duality. That's why Kobe was blaspheming. He wasn't being, it's satanic. But he was the powers and blasphemy. He was blaspheming the Messiah by calling himself the Black Mamba.
Yeah, the snake. Yeah.
Yeah, it's blasphemy. Ain't we wise as serpents, innocent as doves? You know what I mean?
So when Kobe died, the Black Mamba, was that a really good thing for like people like the believers of God, or bad? Because when Kobe died, that's when everything's become insanity since his death.
Yeah, well, what it is like, you remember he was in a 76B helicopter. So, he was in a 76 helicopter with Kobe. I'm going to explain this real quick. I got videos on this. I did a whole breakdown on it with him and Chadwick Boseman. But Chadwick Boseman, I'm going to explain it. As it's written, remember when the Messiah with the crucifixion, remember he was in the bowels of the earth for 3 days and 3 nights?
Yeah.
Can't watch Chadwick Boseman had to have colon cancer because the whole thing was trying to say so Messiah figure cannot rise up. that's why Kobe had to go down and, go down from the sky allegedly. And then Chadwick Boseman, remember he had the movie Ma Rainey Black Bottom come out.
And I was watching one of your videos today about, because he played the role of the Black Panther, and the Black Panther's connected to Satan, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Revelation 13, the mixed leopard.
Yeah, that was so interesting.
The Obama thing. Yeah, the Obama thing. That's why Obama is the Leo, is blaspheming the Lion of Judah, Messiah,
And Obama was born the 216th day of the year, and 6 times 6 times 6 is 216.
That's deep, yo. I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
There's a guy called Joseph Aquaviva who does amazing work about Obama. And Obama was born with 149 days left in the year, which is the 35th prime. Going back to your Kevin Durant and his 35 jersey.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild how it's all being done and how it's all being played out. So you're saying Kobe's death was actually a bad thing for humanity, as we call ourselves?
Well, it was basically the war was the reason why he had to die off is because when they always do that, they always like to kill off the Messiah figure when he's rising up in the spirit. Like I had broke this down about how he's already upon the earth. Remember I was saying this earlier in the video.
Yeah.
I mean in the audio, my bad. In the audio call about the 1976 birth. And I did recent videos that I just did. Remember, I had dropped the ones you said this is very deep, mate, on the video. Where I was showing the imagery about Texas and how deep that place is. I was just out there for a while in Dallas, and you can feel it. You can feel that presence out there.
Well, that's where the Bush family are from, isn't it?
But yeah, that too. But that's because that's why everybody is born in certain places. Because hear me out. Remember I talked about the 7667, like how 76 represents the foreshadowing of the kingdom because of the top of the pyramid. It's written in Isaiah 19.
Yeah.
In this day there should be an altar to the Lord in the midst of the land of Egypt. That altar is measured at 76, which is the headstone the Illuminati removed and put an all-seeing eye there, which is prophesied in Psalms 118:22, how they removed the headstone.
To you, what is the all-seeing eye?
The all-seeing eye, I mean, it's like as it's written, your eye be single, your body should be full of light. But what they do is they use that for their own thing, to be their own God. Basically, when you got a single eye, you're full of, you at full power. Hence, Lucifer is the light bearer. That's what it means.
So is that why they do the one-eyed symbolism and cover one eye, etc.? Is it to do with that?
Yeah, that all go all into that. Yeah.
Oh, please go into that. Please go into that.
Well, I mean, like that all, like I was just saying, when your eye is single, your body is full of light, meaning, you have your eyes set upon the path. Like the Most High said in Deuteronomy 30:19, this is why everything has credits. This is why everything has, like movies have credits, music, everything is recorded.
Yeah, when you give credit, you give credit to people, don't you, for something that, like I give credit to 6079 for his code. You pay credits as well when you can get credits when you're gambling.
Oh yeah, that too. But what the credits represent, I'm gonna get right to it.
Okay.
In Deuteronomy 30:19, the Most High says, "This day in heaven is recorded against you. Choose life over death." He said He gave us two choices: life or death. Choose life. So when you understand that, what that is, the credits, as it's written, Satan is our accuser. It's an actual court system. When you understand how heaven is an actual court system, that's why it says after death comes judgment. Because as it says, our sins weigh against us. We want our good to outweigh our bad. So Satan is our accuser.
There was a movie. Have you seen the movie Trainspotting?
No.
Incredible movie, but basically there's a song from the soundtrack called Choose Life.
See, like it ain't by mistake. And you said a movie called
Train, yeah, I can't remember it, but I've definitely seen it, yeah.
Train, the Exodus. Remember I always put that in the videos, remember I show that song Sicko Mode by Drake.
Yeah. There's a famous band called Train as well.
Yes,
and didn't they have a song called Drops of Jupiter or something, and then Hey Soul Sister? They're called Train.
See, 1976, You had the show come out called Welcome Back, and they showed the train on there, and they tell me, yeah, we tease them a lot, that we blaspheme against the Son of God.
And what do you do when you practice for sport or go to the gym? You train, don't you?
Exactly. Yeah. Train. You preparing the body. Remember, the Most High told us to prepare for the kingdom. We got to rehearse the kingdom.
Wow.
The exodus, the train, the conductor. You ride upon the railroad. That's why I broke it down. How Texas had where the 776 zip code is Port Arthur, Texas. How Port Arthur is America's #1 oil refinery, and then how the Messiah. Remember how he must be anointed with the oil.
Texas has the Texas Longhorns as well, which is the devil symbolism, isn't it?
No, it's not though. It's they blasphemy it.
So what is that? What is that when they put up the so-called devil horns? What is that they're doing?
With the horn, it's blasphemy because it's like I said, it's good and evil to everything.
Yeah,
I agree. The devil, when they use as it's written in scriptures, he's our horns of salvation. Your horns is your strength. You feel what I mean? He's the head. Out of the head come horns. You know what I'm saying? Notice a male bull has horns, a female don't. A cow don't have that, but a male does. Same with the deer, So the whole thing was like the horns.
So was Michael Jordan on the Bulls, where he went to 6 NBA finals, won 6 rings with a team founded in '66 and the NBA founded on June 6th, 66?
See, that's in Daniel chapter 12. In the last day before the day of the great deliverance, Michael shall rise up. Michael it don't mean nothing but one like God. It's not talking about the archangel Michael. Michael means one like God.
And do you think the Jordan is connected to the river? River Jordan?
Messiah, that's what I'm saying. Hear me out. Daniel chapter 12, it says, in that day, in the last days before the great deliverance, Michael shall stand up. What it's talking about, Michael means one like God. That's why Michael Jordan rose up. Mike Tyson rose up. Michael Jackson, Michael J. Fox, Michael I can go on forever. But Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan, because Messiah will lead us across the Jordan River thing. It's like basically an exodus into the kingdom.
All right, let me ask you this. So somebody like Michael Jordan, who I've got in my head, is completely connected. Is completely connected to Satan. Is not. Is not. Yeah. Is not.
No, it is.
He is.
What I'm saying, what I'm saying is, this is how it works. Their power, Satan's entire. Remember, Satan got casted out of heaven. Remember, he knows what heaven is, how heaven is structured.
Yeah, he knows. Yeah, he was directly below God, pretty much. No, Lucifer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Remember, as it's written, he was the most beautiful creation.
So Lucifer, did Lucifer become Satan when he was cast out?
Exactly.
Okay.
So Lucifer don't mean nothing but the light bearer.
And 33.3% of the angels came with him.
Exactly.
And were those angels fallen angels? Because I know, God...
They're fallen. They're fallen.
Yeah, and then the fallen angels had sex with regular women and created the Nephilim.
It's all going all into this thing.
But the Nephilim, they never confirmed the Nephilim all died, did they? It was never confirmed.
I mean, you still got the spirits, but I mean, you have, as it's written in Peter, you still have them in hell, and they're in hell and in prison. You know what I'm saying? As it's written in the book of Peter.
So what about somebody like Andre the Giant, who was over 7 foot tall?
That's what I'm saying. Those spirits are still around, but I'm talking like the literal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's like that spirit of that is still like Andre the Giant. That's why they like Nephilim Basketball Association, Nephilim NFL Association.
My friend tells me that the Nephilim hide out in the NBA.
Yeah, they are. That's why you got people walking around 7'5".
Yeah, 7'5", and they're just basketball players. It's like 7'5".
And they already designed like Kyrie Irving. I broke him down. I broke down Durant, Kawhi Leonard, Kevin Durant. Now look, you have real people who just sell out.
No, you do. Around. So is this the trap that it's such a variety of people that are so there's the genuine sellouts, there's maybe the Masonic bloodline, then there's maybe that, like you said, Nephilim bloodline, possibly.
I mean, all of that stuff, like those NBA, like all the sports and all of that, It's all tied into that, yeah. But like you got real people who sell out, like to like they not gonna probably be the biggest athlete in the league. But like what I mean by that is by name. They're not about to be King James because you have King James. He's already designed for this. You know,
but there's a reason why they give all of these top stars nicknames. Like Michael Jordan was the Black Cat, and which he ended with the Wizards, which is connected to magic. They give them the Black Mamba.
And no, you know that's crazy.
Who's giving them the nicknames, mate? Who's behind the nicknames?
As it's written, you got those spirits that.
So as it's written,
in high places, yes, as it's written in high places, you have the rulers of darkness who use people for this. You know, like Michael Jordan, I didn't even know his nickname was the Black Cat.
That's he had multiple nicknames. One of them was definitely the Black Cat. He had so many. He's had so many nicknames.
And then think about it, how he said, end of how he played on the Wizards. Notice his first game was against who? Magic.
And then one of the greatest basketball players ever is Magic Johnson.
Oh, Magic Johnson was nothing to play around with. Who did he play with?
The Lakers. And then he was up against Larry Bird, and you had the duality with the black and white.
No, I'm saying, that too, but I'm saying who was his teammate? His main teammate.
Al-Jabbar, wasn't it?
Yeah. What was Jabbar's name before he joined Islam? Lewis.
Yeah, and he wore number 33, didn't he? That's why Michael. That's why Magic couldn't get 33, which he requested, but you couldn't take it off him.
What was his move? What was his main move? The sky hook.
The sky hook. Yeah.
As it's written, we must uplift the name, uplift the Messiah, rise him up. Lewis, and then they played on the Lakers, Messiah, the living waters, man out to sea. And then they go against Jordan, the bull. Now, the bull was all high-level blasphemy because when you understand that, now the Messiah, as it's written, is as the royal bull in Revelation 4:7. The bull is a symbol of strength, you know what I mean? It's the ox. So when they use it, it's obviously for Moloch. Satan does mirror images. He makes what is good.
He infiltrates everything that's pure.
Exactly. So he used the likeness of it. Remember, he said, I will be like the Most High. So he took that bull symbol, as it's written in Ezekiel 1:4, the Messiah is revealed via the whirlwind. That's why you remember I broke down about Kansas, about how Kansas is its area code is 316. Hint John 3:16.
Yeah.
And then hint Port Arthur, Texas. When you understand the birthplace of the Messiah, the 776 zip code connects to Kansas via the train system. There's no way around this. And then when you look at Ezekiel 1:4, he revealed via the whirlwind, Wizard of Oz. Remember, they was in Kansas, and what did they say? We want to make it to Emerald City.
And did you see that recently Harry Styles dressed up as Dorothy from that movie, The Wizard of Oz? So Harry Styles is like the most iconic singer right now. He was the lead singer of One Direction. And he recently dressed up as Dorothy. He had a blue dress on and red shoes on. But going back to John 3:16, which is, for God so loved the world that he gave his one and only son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life.
Code is 316.
Yeah, and then do you remember Stone Cold Steve Austin won King of the Ring, and it's like Austin 3:16 said, I just whooped your ass.
Who did he fight? I'm gonna break this down to you. And First Corinthians.
He fought Jake the Snake Roberts, fought in the final of the King of the Ring, and Stone Cold Steve Austin is known as the Rattlesnake.
Yeah, but he's black. He come out of Texas.
The Texas Rattlesnake.
That's how I'm gonna break this down to you. Remember I said.
Please go.
Remember how? Yeah, okay, I'm gonna break it down. I did a video on this too, but
I'll share all of your stuff on my website.
Oh yeah, awesome! I really appreciate.
No, my pleasure. I shared some today.
Thank you for that. For real.
No, you deserve you deserve 3 million followers, mate. For your knowledge.
Oh man, and you know what though? I thank the Most High to have the people who watch it.
Yeah, exactly. If we can plant seeds one a day, then we're doing amazing work.
Yeah, because like Stone Cold, to go back to him. Okay, hint the whole thing. The stone is cold. What they want to do is the Masons are workers of the darkness. So hint the code like Sub-Zero. Do
you remember Sub-Zero? Do you remember Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat?
That's what I'm talking about, exactly. And Scorpion was the Messiah symbolism.
Yeah.
But because he conquered hell, and then he rises up, and he conquers death, and he breathes fire, hence the light of God. You know what I mean?
Which one on Mortal Kombat was that? Get over here. Was that Scorpio?
Scorpion. Yep. And I was playing that heavy a couple years ago. I ain't played that in a long time, but yeah, to get over here, I did a breakdown on the movie. That's why the movie came out last year. Kong versus Godzilla was all Messiah getting his battle axe, which is Jacob. You know, he says Jacob because that's his battle axe, which is Israel, and he wants to sit upon the throne. That's why King Kong is from Skull Island, hence the Messiah rises out of he got crucified in the land of the skull, Golgotha. You know.
Do you think then King Kong is connected to monkeypox, which we can't talk in detail about?
Yeah, that all go to that too, because hence the planet of the apes, you know, that was all symbolic of the children of Israel, you know, coming out, you know, coming into who they were. That's why they started speaking on the movie. Remember, they was riding horses and everything.
And have you seen the movie from 1995 called 12 Monkeys with Bruce Willis and Brad Pitt?
No, but I've seen a show called 12 Monkeys, and a guy was time traveling, and he was able to see how the world was going to be destroyed in the 2030s. I forget. It came out, this is like 2013. I was watching it.
Yeah, and you've got Agenda 2030, haven't you, with the World Economic Forum? But this movie, 12 Monkeys, James Cole, a convict, decides to volunteer for a mission wherein he has to travel back in time to learn about the main reason behind the outbreak of a virulent Holocaust. That was called 12 Monkeys. Michael Jackson had a monkey.
The 12 Monkey, the 12 Tribes of Israel.
The 12 Tribes of Israel as well. What's Brady's jersey number? And Aaron Rodgers? 12.
Oh, yeah. Aaron, you know, remember Aaron was the first high priest. The rod rises out of Aaron, you know. Moses.
Yeah, and what about this? Yeah. You've got the last major play of Super Bowl 56 was by number 19, Aaron Charles Donald. And then you have Aaron Charles Rodgers.
Remember I broke that name Charles down. It's awesome. That's, you know, I didn't even know that was his name, Aaron Charles Donald, and Aaron Charles Rodgers. You know, Charles is all symbolic of the Messiah too, because remember I broke it down like the name Charles. When you understand the word char, it means to be burned. As it's written, he looked like he was burnt in the furnace. And I'm going to explain right quick. Charles, remember Charlie in the chocolate factory? Remember he inherits the kingdom from William. The I am that I am, the Most High gave it to Charlie. Yeah. Hint Chuck is short for Charlie. Hint Chuck was God on Supernatural, and he was from Kansas.
And you have the movie Chucky.
Yeah, Chucky is.
And Chucky, did you ever watch the Rugrats? There was a character called Chucky.
Yeah, exactly. Chucky, on the serial killer, he was all symbolic of the Messiah. Hence, the Tao theme is, as it's written, the Most High said He's a God of hosts. You know, he lives within us. That's why the Tao is just all showing the flesh can't live without the spirit.
Wow. And going back to Charles, the next king of England is going to be Prince Charles.
See, there's no way around it after Williams.
Yeah. You know, when you look at William is Charles's son.
See?
Wow, this is absolutely mind blowing, mate. This is mind blowing. Mate, can I actually no. I'll go back to it later. Keep doing and go back to the Stone Cold Steve Austin somebody's asking as well.
Yeah, all right, now look, I'm going to explain this to you. Who was Stone Cold's main rival? The Rock.
The Rock, yeah.
Remember The Rock was from Hawaii.
Yeah.
And Obama is from Hawaii. And I'm going to explain it real quick. When you understand Hawaii, when you look at Texas, remember about Texas, you look at Texas is surrounded by land.
Yeah.
I'm going to explain this. And Luke 16:26, the Most High told Israel, between us, which is talking about the Holy Spirit, the Son of Man, and himself, he said, between us and you, there is a great gulf fixed. Right? Texas is in the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
Remember I said the name Louis? Right by Texas is what? Louisiana, Louisiana.
That's where Lil Wayne's from as well.
Exactly.
Lil Wayne's from Louisiana. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, exactly. It's always that, you know, the whole thing with the Louisiana thing, because they all got to rise up out of there because it's all high blasphemy. Lil Wayne his name is Carter, and when you understand the name Carter, remember I always break it down how Carter. When you understand the word Kara, Kara means anointed Messiah. So that's why they like to destroy the cars and everything. That's why Lil Wayne the Carter had to rise up out of Louisiana.
Yeah, wow. And then you have like Aaron Carter and Nick Carter, who had these.
Exactly. President. When was President Carter? When did he become president? Let me break this down to you.
Wow, President Carter, another one. Yeah, wow,
He became president in 1976, and where was that? That was the only election ever held in Hawaii.
Wow. See, wow. Okay. Boom.
And think about that. They were showing how the Messiah will be born in Satan's world. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at it, Obama, that's that whole thing. That's why all the movies, the Netflix deal, all the actors, all of them was praising them for years before. I got so much on it on my channel. It's a lot. It's just a lot to talk about. Like,
no, we can always do another live next week or something. You don't have to break everything down now.
Yeah, and it's like, what was I about to say about Stone Cold? He battled the Rock, which was showing how Messiah is, as it's written, he is our rock, our stone, you know, our salvation, our fortress.
And do you know who else was involved in their rivalry often? Was The Undertaker.
Oh, yeah, Undertaker is all blasphemy of, you know, how the Messiah, you know, the dead in Christ shall rise first.
Yeah, and his brother, the brother of destruction, which was Cain and Abel.
Yeah, brothers of destruction. No, Cain was just talking about the rod of God. Notice why he was always dealing with fire. Because
every time he would go to the ring, the four posts would light up when Cain went to the ring.
Yeah, that's why they say they're brothers of destruction, because what they're saying, they destroyed Satan's kingdom. It's the Messiah. When the dead in Christ shall rise in the Messiah, that's why Undertaker used to always wake up off the ground.
It's why, it would always rise like all the time. And that's why I'm telling people now, right now, for people who watch my work, you have to keep an eye on Seth Rollins, because they call him the Monday Night Messiah, and they call him Jesus CrossFit. So if Seth Rollins, which I'm predicting soon, is going to become the world champion again.
And Seth, because we are the sons of Seth. Remember Seth?
The Seth.
Abel,
yeah, or Sephiroth as well connects to Seth. And isn't Steph Curry's brother's called Seth Curry, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Curry, what do Curry mean? Curry means the one who rides the horse. That's why Messiah rides the horse. The warriors have the Golden Gate Bridge, because Messiah is our gate, our way, our bridge to the kingdom.
I believe that bridge is coming down very soon.
Oh yeah, or no, there it is. Oh yeah.
And have you noticed that? Have you noticed Steph Curry plays for the Warriors and his middle name's Wardle, which both have war in the name during this war?
Oh yeah, but Warriors is just all talking about the saints of God who are in that army, that mighty army of God, you know? And that's why his name Wardell. Yeah, I remember somebody called him that, and he looked like, why do you say my name like that? Yeah, and Stephen, you know, his brother is Seth, and Seth played for the 76ers. Now he's on the net because the kingdom of God is as a merchant man casting his net into the sea.
And Jesus died at 33 and 33 AD, and Steph Curry's parents just recently divorced after 33 years.
And he was 33 when they got the divorce. He just was turning 34.
Yeah.
He turned 34 this year.
Yeah, and all the 34s, like he won the NBA at 34. And then you had Matt Stafford won the Super Bowl at 34, and Messi won the Copa America at 34. The final was his 34th appearance. Giannis, number 34, won the MVP. Shaq, 34. There was loads of other 34s that were going down. And what do you see in the 34 other than, I guess, 3 times 4 is 12 for your Jacob?
Well, you got the 7, but then 3 is the number of the spirit. And then 4 is the earth, you know what I mean? The 4 corners. And then
there's 4 seasons, 4 corners, 4 elements. Like the World Cups every 4 years, the Olympics every 4 years, presidential elections 4 years, the NBA Finals, first team to 4, same in the NHL. It's a big number, the 4 horsemen.
And the Earth's equator is measured at 23.4.
Wow. And by the way, going back to Ric Flair, he was the leader of the 4 Horsemen, the greatest faction of all time in wrestling. He was the leader of the 4 Horsemen.
Yeah, it's been years since I've seen. I was young when he was the wrestler. And I remember it was Stone Cold. Yeah, I remember I was saying how he represents Messiah being the Rock. Remember how they used to have that glass break and then they showed 316?
Yeah, it was the beginning of it. The beginning of his song was, wow, and the glass smashes, and he just walks down.
About the kingdom of God being revealed, the sits upon the sea of glass. And then as it's written in 1 Corinthians 13:16, I believe, it talks about how through the glass, you know, the Messiah see who he is. He said, "Did not know who I am known. Through the glass I see darkly."
Wow, this is incredible, man. It is. It's absolutely beautiful, this knowledge that you're sharing here. And
yeah, you see, this is how deep it is. That's what I'm saying. It's the blasphemy. It's deep, man. Like it's serious stuff. Like hint this. Remember I was talking about the 76? Hint why in 1876 is the year that the telephone got the patent.
That's exactly 100 years after the Illuminati were founded in the Declaration of Independence.
But hence the whole thing, call upon the Lord. Remember how Superman is from Kansas and how Superman
kryptonite.
What did he do? He go inside the phone booth and then he becomes Superman.
Oh my goodness, mate! Yeah.
And I shall answer. And I shall answer when you call upon me. You know, that's why the telephone had to be made in 1876, 100 years before the 1976, and like you said, 100 years before Illuminati, after Illuminati formed. So yeah.
So it makes you think if we're still here, what the hell is going to happen in 2076?
That's what I was saying. I was thinking about that earlier, and 2067.
Yeah.
The Rock. Hint this though, bro. Remember I was saying how 76 is number of the spirit, the spiritual kingdom, you know, manifesting, because 7 is the number of the spirit, 6 is the number of flesh.
And God basically created the world on the 6th day and rested on the 7th.
Exactly. He made man exactly. So when you look at 6-7, though, 6-7 in Matthew 26:67, you know, the Messiah got beat up for saying he was the Son of God. So the 6 represents, you know, the flesh kingdom trying to rule over the spiritual kingdom. So when you look at how deep it goes, that's why, you know, when you look at, remember I was talking about Texas, where Stone Cold is from, with the Messiah symbolism.
The Undertaker's also from Texas, I think.
All of them are. A lot of them are. And then when you look at that, it's high-level blasphemy. But when you look at that in Texas, distance from Hawaii is, I think, 3,674, like 6-7 is in the distance. And, you know, you look at Texas as inland, and Hawaii is deep into the sea. Remember, as it's written, the beast out to sea. Look, Obama is deep into the sea. The reason why they love, in 1960s, when Dr. King was pushing the abortion, not abortion, my bad, the voting rights, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
When he was pushing the voting rights, they said Hawaii knows integration work. Obama was like 4 or 5 years old at the time. And when you understand Hawaii, it's so deep because Hawaii, remember, was formed from fire.
Yeah. So that's it's got so many volcanoes, hasn't it?
Yeah, and hence why, you remember that movie Journey to the Center of the Earth, that old book? That whole thing was them talking about how they can make it to hell.
And did you know, you probably know this, do you know Hawaii in the purest cipher is 33?
See, that's crazy.
Yeah, Hawaii is 33.
Yeah, that's all. It's high level wicked. That's why he had to rise up out of there. Because when you, and hear me out, remember I said the name Lewis, when I broke down the name Lewis? You know, Lewis had Louis, and I, soul. You know, when you look at Lewis, it has soul in it, the word soul. When you look at, it was back in 1961, a couple months before Obama was born, Louis Armstrong with his wife Louise, and was blowing the trumpet at the Sphinx, which is all.
Is the trumpet connected to Donald Trump in any way?
Yeah, that's why Kobe, no, let me say this. Kobe played against the Jazz. Remember that his last game?
Yeah, did you know when you combine the jersey numbers of the Jazz players, there was only 9 players that suited up, and obviously Kobe died in a helicopter with 9 people. His highest scoring game, 81 points, which is 9 times 9 when California was founded, 9-9. But when you add up the jersey numbers of the Utah Jazz roster on that game, it was 181, which is the 42nd prime.
Yeah, that's deep, man. That's crazy.
And he played 42 minutes, didn't he? He played 42 minutes in his first ever NBA ring. The Lakers won 4-2 in the finals. And since he died, all 3 NBA finals have finished 4-2. You had the Lakers beat the Heat 4-2, the Bucks beat the Suns 4-2, and then you just had the Warriors
beat the
Celtics 4-2.
Yeah. And you see how Boston, remember Jason Tatum was wearing Kobe on his wrist.
All about Kobe, wasn't he? That whole season. Tatum's so connected. Tatum was born on 3/3 on a day, leaving 303 days left in the year.
Where's Tatum from?
I'm not sure. Philly? No, I don't know.
St. Louis, bro.
St. Louis, yeah, he is.
Yeah,
and they were from the St. Louis Rams, like you said, and then the Rams win the Super Bowl the year Tatum has a great season, and
then they notice that they go to the Super Bowl the same year that he go to the finals, and then Tatum. I remember I met this guy when I was living in Chicago. This one dude. He knew Tatum, like he know his dad, you know. But and I remember this was at a time when Tatum was playing against LeBron. But yeah, he know his dad, you know. So it was like I was like, wow. He was like, yeah, man. You know, I knew him when he was young, man. I knew, you know, as he was getting older, he was gonna be good. Blah 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 blah.
But he was trained. He was trained by Kobe, just like Booker was. A lot of them were trained by Kobe, and they always talk about it.
Devin Booker, all of them guys. They all, and people be like, man, no, that just happened. People go to train. Man, how often do you? I live in, you know, I've grown up in the hoods, all of that.
Yeah.
And I met people. How often do you hear somebody talking about, hey, man, I'm going to LeBron James camp this summer?
Oh,
Kobe's camp. You don't hear that.
You just never hear it. I've hung out a few times in like Compton when I lived in LA. The people like LeBron James acting like they really care about inner city children is absolute. You say blasphemy, don't you? It's an absolute joke. And then they might do the occasional charity game or appear at an event.
That ain't going to them kids. That's just.
It's like the charities. I did a live stream about don't give your money to these charities that are promoted by celebrities. None of it's going to children in need or animals.
I was watching a commercial about like the children, the St. Jude Hospital, and they had the kids on there. It's like, yeah, you know, they help us, and I'm so glad, my mom. And I'm looking at it. Those were Masonic Shriners right on the commercial.
Yeah, can you please, I've said this before, but can you really break down what a Masonic Shriner is? Like, that's their job, isn't it?
Yeah, their whole thing is to just, keep the shrine going. Keep everything flowing, man. That's their whole role. And when you go into it, too, like even just beyond outside the Masonic Shriners, the whole thing with the Masons, like when you go into the fraternities, as it's written in First Maccabees 4:15, that as it's written, Israel sold their way of the forefathers, which was talking about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, following the path of the Most High. They sold that away to become like Greeks. That's why they are Greek fraternities. And they when they do is you got like the fraternity like Steve Harvey, y'all Shaq and them, the Q Dogs, the Omega Psi Phi. What they do is they do the Masonic camel walk. And the whole theme of that is what? You know, it's written, the Most High said it's easier for a camel to walk through a needle than a rich man into the kingdom of heaven.
And speaking of Greece, like the variants, the Alpha, the Delta, Omicron are all letters of the Greek alphabet as well.
Exactly. And that's why they do the Masonic camel walk, because they're like, okay, we can inherit our kingdom on earth and still live in the flesh.
Wow, so, yeah. And what about Triple H? Triple H is known as the King of Kings as well with the sledgehammer.
Oh, yeah, that's why he got the Triple H is blasphemy. Remember, he did it at the Philadelphia 76ers game.
Wow. Oh, yeah, he did. That was very recently, wasn't it? And H is the eighth letter of the alphabet, so Triple H is 888, basically.
Exactly.
Triple H.
It's all blasphemy of that. That's why he bring the hammer, because it was written the Messiah is the judge.
And he just literally yesterday, Triple H is now like the top guy. Vince McMahon stepped down. It's now Triple H, the number one guy.
What age was Vince McMahon? Vince McMahon was 76,
yeah.
And look at it. Notice all of the things that's going on. You got Vince McMahon, R. Kelly, the first boy who came out and said that he tried to touch him. Name was Lewis. You had.
Well, I didn't know his name was Lewis.
Yeah, remember that? What's his name? Travis Scott. The situation with the kids. His lawyer name is Cara Lewis.
Are you serious?
No way. Yeah, there's no way. You have what's his name? You got Deshaun Watson with the Cleveland Browns, who just left Houston Texans. His name, basically, him and Vince McMahon got the same situation with like the women scandal. Notice all of them are getting in trouble with the scandals with women. Hence, the whole theme is because the kingdom of God is fulfilling. Remember, as it's written, the Messiah shall have his bride Israel.
Wow, yeah. Okay, all right.
Yeah, hence the kingdom of God is as a bride, as a brideswoman, you know, as a virgin. That's why everything is about divorce, and everything is about, oh, you know, man getting all the women, they getting in trouble for it, because the whole thing is trying to divide the kingdom of God from fulfilling. But
so when there's these guys who are having sex with multiple women, they call them players. Is that because it's a game?
Well, I mean, I'm talking about like that. Yeah, I mean, it's like, in that sense, the pimp is all blasphemy anyway. The Messiah holding the rod and having the bride, you know, had the whole thing, you know, as it's written about in the scriptures, about how you have the 10 virgins, 5 who were wise and 5 who were foolish. The 5 foolish ones, they got locked outside the kingdom because they stayed sleeping.
Wow, you just got me thinking of a wrestler called The Godfather, and he said he told people to get on the whole train.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Godfather.
Yeah, that's deep.
Wow, that's another train connection.
Yeah, man, this stuff, it goes.
Doesn't The Rock calls himself the hardest trainer in the room as well, doesn't he, with the gym?
Well, yeah, I think the train too. Yeah, and think about the train too. It's righteous, and then on the same time, the train can be the loop. It can be the Matrix. Remember on the movie The Matrix? Remember they was in the train station turning people into Mr. Smith. So it's like they want to keep you loop. It goes. It's right. It's duality to everything. So like the train can be you exiting, or the train I can literally just be in a loop, and just like remember back in the 70s. That's why in the 70s you had Soul Train. They wanted Israel, they wanted Judah to be caught up in a loop and never leave the Exodus.
Well, the number 8 we keep talking about is basically just a loop. It just keeps going round, like round and round. It's just.
Remember that song about 50 Cent? He said it goes round and round and up and down, you know?
Yeah, and Eminem was from 8 Mile, Detroit.
Yeah, exactly.
The Meta Universe logo is basically sideways 8 as well.
It's the loop, and all meta means is to be dead in the Hebrew. So it's like.
So meta world peace means like the death of world peace.
No, basically it's like their peace is by what? Hence the Most High said, when they shall say peace, then sudden destruction should come upon them. So what he's trying to say is that whole thing with him is basically trying to say one world order is one world peace. Everybody one together. That's Satan's way, because it's all blaspheming. How as it's written, the kingdom of God says that what? All the nations shall cleave unto Israel, and everyone shall dwell in the harmony. You know, hence the one kingdom, one body. You know, Israel shall rule the kingdom, and then you go into their way is what? Their way is make one world order. It's all the blasphemy in the kingdom.
So I want to ask you this, because you say pretty much everything's duality, yeah, and I agree with you. So John Lennon's song Imagine can either be portrayed as like coming together as one, this beautiful song that most people believe it is, or the national anthem of the New World Order. So I'm gonna break a few verses out here. I'm not gonna sing it. I want you to give your opinion. I might even go through them all, because your brain is just such a high level. I just want to see what comes to your head, kind of like a little weird ass game we got going on. Because this was released in 71, which is the year the World Economic Forum was founded in 1971 when this song was released.
Look at that, 1971. You remember 1973? Remember I was talking about how the Chinese dragon year is 1976. Remember I said 1973 was when abortion became legal, because
3 years before,
to slay the baby. They knew he was coming in the 70s. But
yeah,
go ahead, that's crazy.
And this song being released in 71, coronavirus was declared a pandemic the 71st day of 2020, and 71's the 20th prime. That's why Kobe played 20 seasons in the NBA, died in 2020, and 20,000 people attended his memorial.
Hey, that's crazy. And you know what, too? That's deep, because 1976 was the swine flu. Remember I was talking about
it was, yeah. Wow.
Remember I said Hamashiach was on the scene 1976 into swine flu.
Yeah, and
that's why they was doing the shot, because remember they was trying to people getting crippled from the shot. So they was trying to cripple the body of Christ, trying to destroy the temple of God.
Yeah, and you're talking about Ham and the swine's connected to pigs. And then in the book Animal Farm, written by George Orwell, the pigs take over the farm from the humans. And
you see, that's deep. And you remember the pigs shall fly. Remember they always said when when a man become king, the pig shall fly.
Wow, this is wow, mate. We are literally just we're just. I'm throwing you the ball, you're dunking it, and then you're setting me up for a three. It's just this is beautiful, mate. Hopefully, people are enjoying it.
We're setting up for the goal.
Yeah, exactly. We're just assisting each other here, and it's great. So I'm gonna say a few things, like a few lines, and just tell me what comes to your head. And if you can't think of anything, don't worry about it. So imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Are you saying as above, so below there?
What that's trying to say is it all like as above, so below.
So the duality again.
It all go back to that.
Okay. And what about the thing about imagine all the people living for today? I love the idea of people living in the present, not worried about the past or the future. And
exactly. What that's talking about, that's just saying being slaves of Satan. And when you listen to that, you see how they said your plan. You see how they talking about the heaven. Say that again about heaven. They said the plan one more time.
Well, the bit I've just said about imagine all the people living for today, or the heaven part.
The heaven part.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky.
Yeah, and the whole thing that was all saying, like basically, it is. We have our heaven on earth, and they want people caught up in the deception.
The materialism, like Madonna was the material girl in a material world.
Exactly, and then you'll be marveled by Satan's, works and deceived because you ain't aware of the signs.
So basically that first paragraph or lyrics is basically saying, just focus on this realm rather than imagining a heaven. Like just focus on this realm, which is Satan's pretty much, this realm.
Even if exactly, because it's
written. Sneaky, man. So sneaky, eh?
Yeah, that's why 2 Corinthians 4:4 it's written, Satan is the God of this world.
Yeah, it's undeniable.
Eyes of all, you know what I mean? So yeah, man, that's crazy.
Wow, that was beautifully done. This next bit, I think I can break down. You can do it as well. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Is that talking about a one world government? Imagine there's no countries.
It's all democracy. It's all equality. Everything is one. Everything's the same. Democracy. Yeah.
And when it's talking about no religion, is that basically saying no God?
Yeah, basically like you just do it thou wilt,
Yeah, the Crowley, the Aleister Crowley, the Black Magician.
Exactly.
This is 6079. Did you know Magic? He was a Black Magician, and Magic Johnson was drafted on Aleister Crowley's birthday.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that.
I didn't know that. That's 6079. I didn't put it on my website. I've not shared any of his work, but I'll do it during a live stream. That was one of the favorite things he's told me. So what about this? Imagine all the people living life in peace.
Like what did it say again?
Imagine all the people living life in peace.
Yeah, that's all talking about the one with meta world peace we just talked about. I gotta explain that too. I'm gonna explain that in a second when you're done with this. I ain't get a chance to finish my round test, but go ahead.
This is a short. Okay, you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Is that joining Satan?
I'm gonna explain this to you. Now, when he's talking about the dream, as it's written in the scriptures in Deuteronomy 13, that dreamer of dreams, you got to beware of that. And it all goes to dream. They talk about, remember Dr. King's I Have a Dream, about one day everybody being equal. It all goes to the Babylonian dream.
Wow, and there's an iconic wrestler called Dusty Rhodes who was called the American Dream. Now his son's just back in WWE, Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare.
Yep. And you see how when it talked about basically the dream part, and it's like join us in Matthew 4. Remember Satan tempted the Messiah. Remember he said, "You bow to me, I give you the whole world."
Well, Satan's temptation, God is salvation.
Exactly. You see how he said that, you bow to me, I give you the whole world. But remember what the Messiah said to him, this is my Father's kingdom. This is his world.
Yeah, complete faith, yeah.
That's why Billy, remember I always break down Billy, how it's short for I am that I am William. Hint while in the movie It, remember he said, you afloat too, Billy. You afloat too.
Well, Billy is also a male goat.
Yeah, exactly. And the Messiah in number 776, as it's written, he's the goat sacrifice, for our sins.
That's why you have Bill Gates. Billie Eilish.
Oh yeah, exactly. Billie Eilish. What if she got the song? It's like, oh, watch me get the crown.
Yeah, exactly. Watch me get the crown. Yeah. And they call like
Billie
Beyonce.
Eilish.
They call Beyonce the Queen Bee, don't they? They call Michael Jackson the King of Pop. They come out with all these titles. The Prince. You had Prince dying on the Queen's birthday.
Yeah, and the Prince. When you understand Michael Jackson was seriously in prophecy. When you understand those songs he was singing, it was very. I did a whole series on them, man. It's serious stuff.
So the stuff with Michael Jackson, I want you to help me with this a little bit. At the moment, I've got a lot of people on Twitter hammering me because I said Michael Jackson was basically a deceiver. And they just, I had the whole fan, like hundreds of people going at me about Michael Jackson being the nicest guy to ever live. So when it comes to MJ, what's your opinion of Michael Jackson? We all know his music was incredible. Like when he's singing things like "Feed the World, Make It a Better Place," is he genuine or surely not? Because the music industry is completely corrupt.
Right there, when you understand, that's why I have a whole series on it. It's deep, man. When you understand Michael, remember I was telling you about Daniel 12, how Michael will rise up in that day before the great deliverance. That's why, remember when Obama came on the scene, remember in the scriptures, remember how Michael and Satan fought over Moses' body? Notice how Obama...
Speaking of bodies, do you remember Michael Schumacher?
Nah.
Michael Schumacher is arguably the greatest ever Formula One driver. We were just talking about Lewis Hamilton.
That's crazy. Anyway, Michael, one like God,
Yeah, and he had a skiing incident in 2013 when Francis became the Pope. It happened. We've just been talking about 12, and it was 12 days after the Pope's birthday. And he had this accident where he basically destroyed. He got destroyed. Like he was. I think it was in Geneva, Lake Geneva, of course, Lake with your water, which is in Switzerland. And no, actually, was it a French? It was in a French resort, I think. But he got basically paralyzed. And he had to use a wheelchair. So that's another Michael Schumacher, Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson.
Let me break that down to you. Let me break this down, because you just talking about how he broke down about the car thing. And when you understand in Ezekiel 1:16, remember John Lennon? I'm gonna get to him in a second.
Yeah.
Remember Ezekiel 1:16? It talks about how the Messiah is revealed via the wheel within the wheel.
Which is the wheel of fortune, basically.
Exactly. All blasphemy. When you go into when you remember you got Professor X in the wheelchair. Remember Drake started out in the wheelchair on Degrassi. The wheel. Notice how it's deep. You just said
Stephen Hawkins with a black hole. He was in a wheelchair.
Exactly. And then Christopher Reeves. Remember he was paralyzed.
Yes, Superman. Yeah.
And then hence the whole theme of how you ski, you riding on snow, as it's written. Beware, I turn you from red as crimson to white as, even though your sins are red as crimson, you will become white as snow, and they shall be as wool. So hence the skin, and then he becomes in a wheelchair, the wheel within the wheel. Michael, one like God, after he was driving a car. So it's all blasphemy, bro.
And these cars, going back to number 4, there's 4 wheels, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. And then when you understand that, what I was about to say, when you understand how all that works, yeah, man, that's how it goes. And it's just no way around that. That's why John Lennon said, "I'm just watching the wheels go round and round." He said, "I like to see."
Yeah, have you heard the nursery rhyme? The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round. That's all the song is.
Remember Michael B. Jordan was riding the bus for the NBA 75th season on the commercial with Bill Russell.
Wow, bro, and it's just hit me. It's just hit me that when they win a championship, they do a parade on an open-top bus.
Exactly,
the Exodus. Wow, yeah. Wow, let me go through a few more of these lyrics with you. It's almost done. Okay. Imagine no possessions. Remember the World Economic Forum said you'll own nothing and be happy. So imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. The brotherhood is very Masonic, but...
That's basically just trying to imagine no possession. Remember the Most High told us how, as it's written, store your treasures in heaven. and then hence the whole theme of brotherhood. Basically, join us, and you can enjoy your treasures on earth. You don't have to.
Yeah, so it's basically because Satan can practically give you anything in this realm, can't he? The TV show Lucifer, he always goes, "What's your deepest, darkest desire?"
Hey, who was the girl? Who was the lawyer on there? Charlotte, and Charlotte derives out of Charles. You know.
Charlotte she was the detective, wasn't she?
Detective, yeah, something like that. But hence the whole thing, the Messiah is the lawgiver, hence the detective. And he seeks out, remember he said he seeks us out. He told us to seek his face. And remember it's written, he seeks and finds his saints. We know of his voice. The lawgiver.
Wow, somebody's telling me this. I don't know how true it is. Loco Mo is saying that today the Pope was in a wheelchair.
That's crazy.
Because he's in Canada right now.
See, I didn't even know. I have to look at that. I didn't even know that.
Okay, so that was well broken down. And this last bit, what about imagine all the people sharing all the world? Again, that's the New World Order, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll go back. Everybody just dwelling in this Babylonian system, you know?
Yeah, and then the final bit is basically this for me just pretty much sums up the New World Order. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. He's not the only Satanist. I hope someday you'll join us. And the world will live as one. And then you have songs like U2 had a song called One. Faithless had a song called We Come One. All this stuff with one. So
it's always the one world. Yeah, they always want to be one because it's all blasphemy. Remember the Messiah is called the one. He says he's the one. And then, remember Neo was the one because it was blasphemy.
Well, Neo is an anagram of one, isn't it?
Exactly. And then he was battling against Mr. Smith inside the Matrix, which is nothing but the Masons, That stuff is deep, man.
Wow, bro, that is incredible. I'm literally looking now at Pope Francis in a wheelchair.
Yes.
And he literally just visited a Sacred Heart church, and all these people are dying of heart attacks. Sacred Heart, mate, church. And he was apologizing. He was apologizing for Catholicism's role in the country's notorious residential school system. I'll have to look into this. He's saying he has a knee problem. What do you have with knee? You take a knee. George Floyd, everyone was taking a knee. It's saying Francis has a problem with his knee. What do you get from that?
All knees shall bow to me.
All knees shall bow to me. Is that what the George Floyd ritual is then with Chauvin, where he knelt on him?
Wasn't it that, but Derek Chauvin, he was born in 1976, allegedly.
And George Floyd was born in 73, going back to your 73 connection.
Exactly. And then George Floyd, remember, he was 46. Messiah is 46 right now. 1976, 2022 is 46. Jason Tatum had 46 in Game 6 versus the Bucks.
And do you know that Pope Francis was born in Saturnalia, which is 1217, and 1217 is the 199th prime, which is when Brady was drafted, and 199 is the 46th prime, and Brady retired 46 days after the Pope's birthday.
Exactly, then he came out of retirement.
Yeah, 40 days after, like Jesus fasted 40 days and 40 nights.
Or then remember the ascension after the resurrection, he was on earth for 40 days.
Yeah, exactly. And Brady's 7-3 in Super Bowls. He became 7-3 in Super Bowls the 21st year of the 21st century, and then he retired on 2-1, which is the first day of Black History Month.
Oh yeah, 20. Yeah, exactly. 2-1, 21.
All 1-2, which is his jersey number, which is just as funny.
And then 21 is 777, and in the book of Esdras, as it's written too about how the Messiah shall be revealed, and that like it says, first Esdras 13 verse 52, and it talks about how the Son of Man, nobody knows the face or anything of the Son of Man or those that be with him until that day and time. Hence, the 21st century is when the satellite was really heavily pushed, and then when the technology advanced. Because in 1976, in Revelation 1:7, behold, I come with clouds. And while you had Microsoft and Apple formed the cloud.
Yeah, Revelation 1:7, 17 is the seventh prime, like he has 7 rings, just like Saturn, and Pope Francis was born in Saturnalia. And Brady retired on 2-1, and 2-1 leaves 333 days left in the year. And 3 times 3 times 3 is 27, and he won the Super Bowl on February the 7th, 2-7.
Yeah, it's crazy how
which
they do
is
all of this.
27. 27 is basically 9 plus 9 plus 9, which is England's emergency dialing code as well.
Yeah, upside down to 666.
And upside down it's 666 as well. That's why Manchester United won the treble in 1999, and they're called the Red Devils.
And then the Matrix came out in 1999.
Yeah, where Neo's passport ran out on 9/11/2001 in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, how is that not enough? That could have been any date in the world. It came out 2 years before 9/11. How is that not enough to like not wake up millions of people? Like, what? Neo's passport in the Matrix ran out 9/11/2001, and the movie came out in 1999. They don't need to know that. Flip the nines upside down at 666. They don't need to know all of that. But the Matrix. This is the Matrix, an iconic movie. Like basically saying that a whole reality is pretty much scripted, and you get a choice between the red and the blue pill, which red and blue makes purple, doesn't it? Which is a number connected to royalty and deception and the Vatican.
It's all duality, because remember the Messiah wear the purple, and then Mother Babylon wear the purple because it's the whore dressed in the scarlet purple because it's all blaspheming the royalty of the kingdom of God.
Have you noticed that pretty much all the so-called, not all of them, a lot of evil Disney characters are purple, like Medusa?
Oh yeah, look at Kamala Harris wore purple during election.
Yeah, exactly. You've got the Barney the dinosaur. Barney is a dinosaur from our imagination. He's purple.
Yeah. Exactly, and then hit the whole thing too of Prince with the purple rain.
The purple rain, and the only time it's ever rained during the Super Bowl was when he was performing Purple Rain.
Exactly, and that's why he dies off, and then George Floyd ends up going to Minnesota, which he leaves 776 to go to Twin City, which is all symbolic,
like the Twin Towers.
Not just that, it's like the doors. It's just written. Why he said I can't breathe, because in John 19:34, as it's written how the Messiah, during the crucifixion, lungs got damaged. So hence the I can't breathe. That's why like on shows, it's always like it was a character. Remember Jimmy Neutron?
Yeah, the cartoon, yeah.
Remember Carl had Cara. Remember Carl Weezer? He couldn't breathe. He always needed his asthma inhaler.
Yeah.
On a show called Power by 50 Cent. It's called Raising Canaan. Lewis on there, his lungs got damaged when he got burnt up in his house. It's all blasphemy, because it's all showing how the Messiah he's burnt in the furnace, but they we want to damage your lungs.
So is that why like Satan came up with like smoking cigarettes and things like that, and now people are vaping?
Vaping. That's right. In 1976, you had the cigarettes called Salem in Jerusalem, and they were called the crush-proof box because Messiah cannot be crushed. He's the stone that they couldn't defeat. That's why in 1970s you had the movie Salem Lot come out with the vampire hint. They always trying to hunt down the bloodline.
Wow, and you've also got with the cigarettes. There's a cigarette brand called Camel. You was talking about camels earlier.
Exactly. Exactly. The kingdom of heaven is always referred to like dealing with the camel. And camels deal with what? Camels deal with their ability. But
the camel also goes back to the Middle East, where everything seems to be going at the moment. That's why WWE was recently in the Middle East, like the first time ever. Like
Floyd Mayweather just fought over there too.
Yeah, Biden's out in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, he about to fight over there with Conor.
That's what I'm saying. The World Cup's in Qatar, so we've got to keep an eye on the Middle East. Like, that's where everything's going down.
Exactly, and then the whole thing with the cigarettes in Revelation 8, as it's written, how the angels take the prayers of the saints, the incense unto the Most High. So that's why they got cigarettes inside of a box. It's all blasphemy.
Wow. So all right, George Floyd, who I believe didn't die. I think the whole thing was a whole joke.
Right.
So who's behind that? Who's saying, right, on this day, who's coming up with these characters? Like, for example, Derek Chauvin. Chauvin was born 3/19, March the 19th. And
he won 1976.
Yeah, 319. And then Brady won Super Bowl 55, 31-9, like 319, and retired 319 days before the Pope's birthday. Who's doing that?
Right, I go back to Ephesians 6:12.
The spiritual wickedness. So the guy who played George Floyd, I think the guy who played George Floyd is Steven Jackson, who was in the NBA.
Well, it could have been that. Exactly, it could be that, or because it's like, what's the odds of you even knowing a famous NBA player like that?
Bro, I can get really deep. The day it happened, because I became a big NBA fan because I lived in LA for a long time. My next door neighbor was Blake Griffin.
All right, bet.
He was at the Clippers at the time. Now he's at Brooklyn. So I loved basketball. I really got into it. And as soon as George Floyd died, I remember telling my friends the day of it, I said, that's Steven Jackson who won the NBA. They were like, who's he? I was like, I showed an image. They're like, oh my, is it him? I was like, yeah, it's him. And then the day after I said all this, I may have done a video about it. It came out that Steven Jackson and George Floyd were like best friends growing up. And
what did he say? He said my twin.
No, and he said George Floyd was like a brother to me, I think. Maybe he said twin as well.
Twin. He said my twin, George Floyd.
And Minnesota is the Twin City, and Steven Jackson. Jackson was his name, this NBA player, who after this whole George Floyd incident came on the scene and became really popular again. Steven Jackson was the founder of the Illuminati board game and card game. It's called Steven Jackson. If you've never heard of the Illuminati card game, it's basically predicted every major thing that's happened.
Yeah, I know. I heard of that. I know Steven Jackson.
Mate, he was called Steven Jackson, the guy who supposedly came up with the concept of the game. Steven Jackson. And SJ is like basically a Society of Jesus, just SJ. And on televised. And do you know who paid for George Floyd's funeral?
Who?
Floyd Mayweather, the boxer.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. You know what the name Floyd means? It means to be gray hair, and the Messiah look as if he has, and the whole thing is wool. You know what I mean? The gray hair. You know, gray is obviously the color of wisdom.
Yeah.
So, George anyway means the farmer. As it's written, hear me out. When you understand the name George, remember I was breaking down Billy on the movie It. Remember George, he was his friend, or brother. You know, George means the farmer, and as it's written, how the Messiah rises out of the house of David. David was sowed the seed. You know what I mean? This is
absolutely insane.
Yeah, that's why I'm telling you. It all goes back to the blasphemy. That's what once you understand that, it just makes sense.
So the stuff with like Cristiano Ronaldo and Messiah Leo, like we know all about the Leo, the lion, and how that connects to Jesus.
Yeah, Leo derives out of Lewis. The Leo is another way of saying Lewis. It derives out of Lewis.
And you've got Leo DiCaprio pushing climate change.
Yeah, exactly. Leonardo. All Leo means Lewis.
Yeah, and Leonardo was actually the leader of the Ninja Turtles, the blue turtle. He was like the leader that they looked up to, Leonardo.
And the Messiah is the rat symbol. That's why they always try to say, the rat. Hint Master Splinter was leading the turtle. Hint the turtle dove. Remember how it tells us we should become as a turtle dove, a holy dove.
Yeah, and then you have Leonardo da Vinci as well, don't you?
Exactly. That's why they was inside of a shell, and they love pizza because the Messiah is, the bread of life inside the stone, the pizza box.
I always say it's funny how a pizza is like a circle, but then can get cut into triangles or squares.
Yeah, exactly. Because hence the circle of life,
The circle of life, which goes back to the Lion King.
Yeah, but the Lion King, Scar was symbolic of the Messiah, and Mufasa was Satan.
Yeah, exactly. What about in the Jungle Book? What about in the Jungle Book with the snake?
Yeah, remember how you had the little boy? You remember King Louis was like, "I want to be like you because
I want to be like you."
It was all symbolic symbolic of the Messiah, going from that form. It's forms to this thing. It's like he's man, but I mean, like, we are like animals are symbolic. You know what I mean? So
we are animals technically. No, are we not animals? Like, I know.
No, it's not like that's all like go to them trying to say how they. No, they all go to that whole thing. But only we derive. I know it don't work. Like that's just the Most High who created man.
Yeah.
And animal and man. It's just that animals are like. It's like it's. How can I explain it? I mean, a friend was talking about this before.
Yeah, I'm intrigued.
Animals are like symbols. You know what I mean? Of like. Parts of us. You know what I'm saying? It's different traits,
So like your different traits, your different emotions.
Yeah, that's why I say you got your animal, like what animal fits this, like how the Messiah called the Lamb of God, then he's called the Lion of Judah, the royal bull, the flying bird, etc.
So you hear things like, oh, he's as free as a bird, is playing like a beast, like all sorts of different like metaphors and stuff that they come out with that are connected to animals. Lots of idioms connected to animals as well.
Exactly. And then what's his name? What was we talking about? Yeah, like Lion King. That was all just the New World Order, Babylonian dream he was talking about. That's why he said don't go to the elephant graveyard, because what that was saying was how their kingdom was destroyed. Remember during the first time with the flood, their kingdom was destroyed. That's why Simba was all symbolic of how like Obama would be risen up.
Wow.
And, wow. Remember how he was weak. Remember Simba was very weak.
Very.
Remember because he didn't know. Remember he was like, I don't know. Remember who came and got him? It was the Jezebel spirit, like the mother Babylon. Like, hey, you gotta go take that kingdom back. Go take Pride Lands back from Scar, because Scar, all that was talking about was how the Messiah was crucified. Remember how I said that he would destroy Satan's pride and bring him down?
Do you know what's beautiful though with Scar? Like the Google song, "Scars are souvenirs you never lose." God never loses, and scars like they're always there. Like it's like God. God is the past, present, and future. So scar is like, scars are souvenirs you never lose. It's a Goo Goo Dolls lyric that I always really like. So the scar, like you've got to really break down these names of these characters. Like they're deep, aren't they? When you break down the names of them.
That's why I said that. That's why like Messiah was like, yo, those who pierce me shall see me. That's why he was like, the scar thing. Remember how the doubting Thomas had to see the scar in order to believe that it happened.
Exactly. Exactly. And going back to duality, think of things like beauty and the beast. That's duality.
Yeah, Beauty and the Beast was deep too. That whole thing.
And time. There's a lot of time rituals in that with the clock and the candlestick.
They came, but about Israel, that's the 7 candlesticks.
Yeah, exactly. The 7 candlesticks, and that. They'll never burn out.
Beauty and the Beast was all about how, basically how the man become beast. That's just like all deriving out of that. The whole thing with the bride Israel connected back with the beast. It's all the Messiah thing.
What do you have from the movie Shrek, which was huge, which was an ogre, and basically his best friend was a donkey, and obviously the donkey was played by Eddie Murphy, a black actor. Mike Myers played Shrek. Cameron Diaz, I think, was Fiona. Who's so? What do you see? Do you see anything? It can't be random that the ogre's best friend was a donkey. Like, do you see anything with that?
That was all symbolic of connecting back, as it's written, Israel is what? Israel is like a stubborn people, a stiff-necked people. And the donkey was played by Eddie Murphy. Remember Eddie Murphy plays Billy on Trading Places with Lewis. And it was showing, remember Billy and Lewis on Trading Places was showing how they can gain the kingdom back from those false Jews who was trying to keep everybody caught up in the lie. And by the end, they was all on the beach, happy and everything like that, living in paradise.
Yeah, it's almost like the Truman Show was like make believe and all perfect until he realized.
Yeah, that's what the donkey was. That's why, as it's written, how the Messiah would ride upon the donkey. It's talking about like how he will, rule Israel. Rule through ride of the tribe of Judah. So that's what that whole Shrek thing was about.
Wow, because when they were going to the land of far, far away, donkey was always like, "Are we there yet? are we there yet, Shrek? Are we there yet? Like,
no,
donkey, no. Like,
remember, Ogre had the child and everything.
Yeah, that's
having a kid and everything. Yeah.
And what about the king was actually became a frog, didn't he? Like Fiona's dad was a frog.
Was a what now?
It turned into a frog. Like Fiona,
frog.
like Shrek's wife's dad, was the king of the kingdom, and then he became a frog.
Like a frog.
The fairy godmother turned him into a frog.
Yeah, the frog is like the unclean spirits. Remember during the time of Egypt, remember you had the frogs. Remember?
So is that why you have like the lead character of the Muppets is Kermit the Frog?
Yeah, then you got him with Miss Piggy.
Yeah, which goes back to the ham.
Yeah,
and they dated each other, didn't they? The frog and the what's the frog and the pig connection together?
Well, I mean, it can be like it's just I have to go back to. I ain't watched that in a minute, but it ain't like the Kermit, because even on the new movie with Adam Sandler, Anthony Edwards plays the Kermit. You know, I mean, his name is Kermit on there.
Well, Anthony Edwards, the NBA player.
Yeah, he ain't no car. It's just his nickname, like in the NBA. Like, you know what I mean? He's been ready to go to the league on the movie. His name is Kermit.
Oh, okay.
Adam Sandler is like he's like an assistant for like with the 76ers.
Well, do you know Adam Sandler often films most of his movies in Hawaii?
Yeah, I didn't even know that. That's correct. Yeah, that makes sense though. You remember Grown Ups where they were playing on the beach?
Yeah, he always takes the same. He basically, I get paid to take my friends on vacation and film in paradise in Hawaii. Basically, that's what he says. Because he always has the same people in his movies.
Oh yeah, think about it. The whole thing with them always on the beach. The Rona, let's clean up beaches. Remember they had that Rona commercial and they just want cleaning up the beaches. Hence the whole thing, as it's written, how the nations, shall cleave unto Israel, and Israel got to be purified and, renewed and come into the faith of God again.
Wow.
And the beaches, as it's written in Hosea, Israel is as the sand of the sea. The beach.
Leonardo DiCaprio had a movie, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Which was called Beach.
Titanic.
No, it was called The Beach. It came out in 2000. It's Richard. You were talking about Richard earlier with King Richard and all the other Richards. Richard, this guy was played by DiCaprio. A young man travels to Thailand and finds himself in possession of an odd map. Rumors state that the map leads to an island paradise. Accompanied by a few friends, he sets out to find it. This came out, mate, 2000, so 222, and the box office was 144 million. The 144, like this.
Had the 144K, yeah.
And there's 1,440 minutes in a day.
Yeah.
I was born on that date, mate. I was born the 14th of April on my dad's birthday.
Wow.
I know.
Real?
I had no idea the importance of the 144 until I learned this knowledge. When were you born?
Oh, me, I was born in January.
What you can give? Nobody's going to care about the date. They can't do anything.
No, January 29th. The 29th, man.
Wait,
29th. So
you were born January 29th?
Yeah. That's the same day as Rakim, too, the rapper Rakim. I know J. Cole was born on the 28th. A couple of people born. I think Oprah, if I'm not mistaken, was born. I forgot around the same time.
Well, you were born on the 29th day of the year, which is the 10th prime. 29 is the 10th prime. So you were born the 29th day of the year.
Yeah, that was...
Wow.
That's some deep stuff, man. Like, it's... And the 10th prime had the 10 commandments, everything.
Yeah, there's so many...
10 pints of blood.
The matrix is made up of ones and zeros, like a computer, which is... 10.
Oh, yeah, it's non-stop 1 0. Hence 0. You always going back to the ground 0, and then you always return back to being a 1. It's just non-stop.
It is. It's absolutely incredible.
And then telling people about it, if you just thinking you're like crazy, or they don't care, they'd be like, "Man, I ain't trying to hear that."
But are you at a point in your life now, where you're not too bothered about having to prove people wrong anymore? You're just so like connected to God, you believe in it. It's like people who are meant to stumble across our work and enjoy our work, it's meant to happen, isn't it? Like you can't even thought, like me doing this live with you now it's just, I think it was just meant to happen today.
Yeah, because we could have did it 6 months ago.
Yeah, it happened. I mean? It happened today.
Yeah, and you're right about that. And it's like I'm glad that it did happen. Yeah, like definitely, like it just said, when it comes to following the Most High, He told us we're gonna be one or two chosen out of a city. You know what I mean? Like, and then He said that He was like one or two from a family, and then like He's like you're going to be with Him. Preserved. Now you might be blessed to be among. Everybody's life is different. Some might be blessed to be around many, and some might be blessed to be around few. But it's like that. When you get, like He said, that when the more you seek Him, the more the world's gonna start fading away from you. Like He said, resist temptation, the devil will flee from you. So people hold them spirits.
Yeah, and basically forgive our trespasses and those who trespass against us. All of that. And today's the 207th day of the year, and 207's big because the 201st day of the year, supposedly when man went to the moon, when the Bucks won the NBA, when Brady went to the White House with the Bucks, was 27, the 20th of July, and we're having this now. Having this amazing live, absolutely incredible. I'm not saying that as in like, look how good we are. I just feel like it has been really top notch on the 207th day of the year. And the 207th day of the year leaves 158 days left in the year. And the Jesuit order were recognized by the Catholic Church on the 15th of August, which is 15/8. Wow. And this is the day somebody said Pope Francis is in Canada in a wheelchair, and you were talking about cars and wheels and the wheel of life and the wheel of fortune, and it's just beautiful, mate. Right now I have 29 in the live, and you said you were born the 29th day of the year.
That's crazy, man.
It's beautiful as well, though.
It ain't crazy. Yeah, I mean, when I say that,
crazy can be seen as amazing. That party was crazy. That was a crazy dunk. Crazy doesn't always have to be defined as something that's negative. Bro, do you mind if I do something to save me a bit of time? And I know you're familiar with my work, with the stuff I do, and I do decode sports mainly to reveal deception. But I want to just be really quick here and read out my New York Mets code to beat the Yankees today, because obviously it's New York, so it connected to 9/11. And I think this might blow your head off a bit. I'll try and be quick with it. So I said the Mets are -110. So the Mets were the same odds as the Yankees, basically even money. And I said this: the Mets become 30-17 at home, like 317, which is the 66 prime, and the Yankees can stay on 66 season wins. The Church of Satan was founded in 66. The Bible is like a small library made up of 66 books. And if you include the end date, the upcoming anniversary of 9/11 is in 6 weeks and 6 days. And the Mets pitches 6'6". The Mets become 60-37 for the season. 6,037 is the 787th prime. Francisco, like Papa Francisco Miguel Lindor Serrano, he plays for the Mets, and he's from Puerto Rico. And Puerto Rico's area code is 787. 787 is the 138th prime. The Mets starting pitcher was born on the 13th of August, 13/8. The Mets just became 13/8 for the month after the win. American Airlines flight equals 138, and that's the flight that was used for 9/11. Now, I just did a live stream today with my friend Chuck, and it's so funny because we were just talking about Chuck and Chucky. It's crazy how this stuff happens. And he was talking about Whitney Houston, and he basically decoded her death and the death of her daughter and how they basically both died in a bath. And
in the bathroom,
she died 2/11, okay? And 2/11 was a big part of my code for the Mets today, because the Yankees pitcher's recent birthday was 211 days before today's game. 2/11's the 47th prime. Just so you know, Whitney Houston died 2/11, and I did this live stream today. The Yankees pitcher wears number 47 jersey, and the Mets pitcher stayed on 47 all-time losses. His name's Taijuan Walker. His name in Gematria is 47. And we were talking about 47 earlier. And this game today was 47 days before the upcoming anniversary of 9/11. And then the Yankees pitcher, he dropped to 3-3 for the season and became 22-20 all time. And New York equals 33. It was the New York Yankees against the New York Mets. New York gets you 2-2-2 in Gematria, like order out of chaos and Wuhan coronavirus. And then the Yankees pitcher, mate, he got his 22nd career loss exactly 22 weeks before his birthday. And then the Mets stayed on 37 home losses. Yankees in Gematria is 37. 37's the 12th prime. Mets gets you 12. It's almost done. This is just one code for one game. The Mets pitcher became 50-47 all time. 547's the 101st prime. 101's the 26th prime. Yankees equals 26. I think 26, I've told you, is a huge number with me. It's connected to God, the alphabet, and all of that. The game today is the 26th day of the month. And then the Yankees dropped to 10-11, like 1-1-1 this month. New York equals 1-1-1. And 9/11 occurred on a day leaving 111 days left in the year. The Yankees dropped to 7-8 away this month. New York 78. And as I did this code, it was yesterday, I said, wild, I have 77 members. 9/11-2001 Flight 77 hit the 77-foot tall Pentagon in Washington, D.C. on the 77th Meridian West, 77 minutes after it took off. And this game, and obviously 9/11 was in New York, and this was New York Mets against the New York Yankees. And I was like, that code, I typed it, I thought, if this doesn't hit, if that code doesn't hit, I'm taking at least 2 days off sports, because it was so good. And I also had the Blue Jays to win, because 444, I was going to ask you about this number. I've never seen a 3119 riddle not hit in my 2 years of coding, because 3,119 is the 444th prime. And today I had the Blue Jays to win at home to become 3119 at home, the 444th prime. Jay-Z had an album called 444. So 4 times 4 times 4, 64, like coronavirus was declared a pandemic, 311, the 64th prime. Do you have anything for 444? Is it just an angel number? Do you have any connections with it? These triple digits?
All the stuff you were saying too, because I was living out in the Bronx for a while, so I had to do the breakdown in New York. I can send you that video.
Oh, please, I'll share it.
Yeah, I'll definitely send that to that New York. New York is called the Garden. Had the whole thing. It has all the boroughs, and it got the bridge. It's all blasphemy of It's all blasphemy.
Well, Donald, do you know Donald Trump was born in New York, and so was Boris Johnson, who was the Prime Minister of England. Yeah. They were both born in New York.
Yeah, and I think Trump he's from Queens.
Yeah, and Jay-Z as well.
Jay-Z from Brooklyn,
who just became a billionaire. They're trying to tell us. Michael Jordan's from Brooklyn, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And David Beckham's son is called Brooklyn Beckham.
Yeah, ain't no mistake, man. Like, and when you understand that too, like, that 444 is very significant because it's like a God presence number. You know what I'm saying? That's why they utilize it for like song like the album Jay-Z. Notice on that album he was like very interpersonal, and he was always praising the Allah theme.
Yeah, big time, massively, yeah.
Yeah, he was praising that hard. And like on his recent song he did with Pusha T, it was on Neck and Wrist. He talking about, they said J-Hove would have never been Hove if Biggie would have survived. He's like, well, Hove was going to always be Hove, because the universe will, Allah said so.
Wow.
So he had the whole thing. He already knew what he was going to be. That's why I'm like, why was Tupac dissing Jay-Z when Jay-Z was nobody to even talk about?
And check this out. I've literally just made this connection now. You might go, geez, that's crazy. Oh, by the way, the Mets also won 6-3 and Kobe retired in 2016, the 63rd triangle, the 63rd triangular number. And the 6-3 can be seen as 3-6. And obviously 3 6s is your 666 and 666 is the 36 triangular number. And I always talk about baseball, how it's all about the number 9, because that's why there's 9 innings. I've done a video about it. And obviously there was 9 runs in this game, with it being 6-3. But so, you know, Jay-Z, we know it's Jayz, but if we're talking letter-wise, J and Z, mate, that J's the 10th letter, Z or Z is the 26th for your 1026. And that was the date Michael Jordan made his debut. And he's also from Brooklyn, like Jay-Z, you're 1026. You're 126, the date Kobe died as well. But that's just hit me now. Jay-Z is 1026 in regards to J, the 10th letter, Z, the 26th. And he's from Brooklyn. And Michael Jordan from Brooklyn made his debut 10/26, 1984, the year LeBron James was born.
Yeah, and then Jordan came in the league 1984. Obama went to that White House in 1984. That's the first time you ever been to the
And
White
Obama
House.
was born. Obama was born on August the 4th, 8/4.
Yeah, so was King Von. I mean, King Von, not King Von. FBG Duck had to die on Obama's birthday.
Oh yeah, that's right. And you know, Michael Jordan, the year he was drafted, he represented the U.S. Olympics, and the Olympics were in Los Angeles, where Kobe played for 20 years, and he wore the number 9. And obviously, he wore 23 his career, and 23 is the 9th prime, and 239 is the 52nd prime. Like there's 52 weeks in a year and 52 cards in a deck. Pope in Gematria gets you 52 as well, and 5 times 2 is 10.
Yeah, don't be playing around, bro.
Yeah,
don't be playing.
It is. And what about this isn't mine as well. I'm going to give him another shout out, 6079. You've got Crowley's basically motto was do as thou wilt. And then what about Wilt Chamberlain, the 7'1" legendary basketball player? 7'1", mate. That's 7'1" again. The 20th prime.
And he was on the 76ers.
Yeah.
He had to battle against Wilt. He was Wilt Chamberlain.
Wilt, do as thou wilt.
Yeah.
And then the guy who just won the NBA, there's a guy who plays for the Warriors who looks like the love child of Wilt Chamberlain.
You know Otto Porter?
Yeah, Otto Porter Jr. looks like literally the twin of Wilt Chamberlain.
And Wilt Chamberlain played for the Warriors.
There you go, yeah.
Otto Porter played for the he played for the Wizards at the Masons.
And when you think about a port, that also connects to boats, like water.
What does Wilt mean? Wilt means to be placed by a stream.
Wow, like a boat.
How the river of life. Wilt, and then that's why he had to play for the Lakers, because Wilt, he came from 76ers to the Lakers and the Warriors.
Yeah, and Kobe was born in Philadelphia, the home of the 76ers, then went to Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah, because Revelation 3:7, as it's written, the Messiah gains the key of David through the Church of Philadelphia.
And the Declaration of Independence was signed in Philadelphia, and that's where the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was from West Philadelphia.
Yeah, exactly, because I am that I am. The William has the keys to the kingdom of heaven through the Church of Philadelphia. Remember, you got the 7 churches in Revelation?
7 churches, yeah.
They got one of the churches is Philadelphia. That's why both of them had to rise up out of Philadelphia.
That's why the maximum you can go in like NBA Finals is to Game 7.
Exactly. They had the whole thing in Philly. That's where I'm at right now. With Philly, Pennsylvania is called the Keystone State. And Messiah is the stone.
Exactly. And what does Rocky Balboa do? He runs up the stone steps in Philadelphia.
And that's blasphemy, because it was all blasphemy. How the Messiah rises up the altar, and he's the rock.
Yeah.
And when did that movie come out? 1976.
Wow. Are you serious? And have you noticed it's called Sylvester Stallone for your double S, which looks like 2 lightning bolts as well?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like, who are these people, man?
That's the big question. Are they like fallen angels, and they're just superior to us?
I think that a lot of them probably are spirits returned, but they utilize today. You know what I'm saying? Just like they were then, they utilize today. It's like our generation, because people like Tupac, say you in a room with Tupac, you're going to feel that energy.
Yeah, there's so much energy. Do you know Obama recently said that Tupac's the greatest rapper alive, not to ever live?
Exactly.
Do you think there's a possibility? Like, I believe the spirit never dies. I think it's eternal. I don't think the spirit ever dies within us.
Tupac didn't even die.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's in Jurassic 5 right now.
Same with Biggie. When you look at Biggie, or look at them doors when the car got shot up, the inside of the door didn't have no bullet entrance, you know.
I know, and they said Tupac got shot 4 times, and in Vegas in the Strip, and not one camera caught it. Mm-hmm. And they said 50 Cent got shot 9 times. 9, the number of completion.
50 Cent is a high level blasphemer.
Oh, huge, mate. He calls himself what, the PIMP?
And his name is Curtis Jackson, the son of Jacob. And that's why you see who blew up after 50 Cent, Lil Wayne, hit the Carter.
Yeah,
that's and 50 Cent had to battle Ja Rule, hit Eminem, you know, M for the Masons, and they battled Ja Rule, hit Yahweh, Yah rules, you know, Yahuwah rules.
Yahuwah rules, yeah, Yah rules. Yeah. Do you remember Ja Rule? Like, it was like, ain't that funny? He had this like incredibly deep voice, didn't he, Ja Rule?
Yeah, because you know they both had distinct voices.
Yeah, he had this deep voice. I remember he did a song with like Ashanti, I think.
Yeah, Ashanti. Yeah, one of them guys. They got one of them from the north. I think 50 from South Side, Ja Rule from North Side.
Yeah, and they hated each other, didn't they? Supposedly.
Yeah, it's all blasphemy, you know.
Like I remember he also had a song with J-Lo called "I'm Real." I wonder if that's talking about the Lord.
It's crazy because
I don't know. They had a song called "I'm Real," the way you walk, the way you move.
He had hits right there.
Yeah, I remember "Always on Time" as well. I'm not always there when you call, but I'm always. It had one album, mate, which was huge. My favorite Ja Rule song was "Everybody That Be Living It Up." I think it was called "Living It Up" or something. Like, he had a great album, Ja Rule.
Yeah, it was blasphemy to the fullest.
Oh, massively. But at the time growing up, I actually, and you're going back, we talked about rules earlier, didn't we? And you got Ja Rule.
Yeah, it's Yah's law or rule. That's why 50 Cent had to bring him down.
And do you know Ja Rule was born in 76, yeah?
That's crazy.
In New York.
75. Do you know 50 Cent was born July 6th, the day after July 5th?
Wait, so he was born on 7/6?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, I just thought about that, 7/6.
Yeah, and Ja Rule was born on 2/29, which is the 50th prime, which is the draft Kobe was drafted. The 50th.
Yeah, that ain't no.
So all these top stars, all these top stars, they're connected, aren't they? They're connected.
Yeah, it's all Masonic fraternity, but I don't think a lot of their birthdays, I think they be making it up. You know, like, it's like, you know how an agent get like a file, and this is the person they got to be when they, like, James Bond was obviously all symbolic of the Messiah, but let's just use him as an example. James Bond, remember how he would basically have like a file, and this is the character he got to play when he goes to this specific mission.
Well, why do you think they're calling 007 again?
Oh yeah, because the whole theme it was all blasphemy of the Messiah. Hint on there, dang, I did a breakdown on it. I ain't watched it in a minute. It's been a while. That's been like over like a year since I did that research. But basically, yeah, that whole theme. You had the Williams on there, you know, the whole thing. You had
What about William the Conqueror as well?
Yeah, see, and look, Tomorrow Never Dies. You know, remember Tomorrow Never Dies. Hence
yeah.
The Messiah is the kingdom to come. Tomorrow is the kingdom to come. You know, all of that stuff was all just blasphemy of the Messiah's kingdom. Hence, that's why he had all the gadgets, because hence the whole theme of how the Messiah, you know, has what he's the carpenter. You know, he builds the kingdom. Anything means necessary is going to get done. Like Killmonger, remember he rose up out of California. Remember we were just talking about St. Louis earlier. Going to Cali. He rose up out of California. He learned who he was. That's all symbolic of the Messiah upon the earth. Learning who he is, everything. His saints are doing the same like we're doing right now. We're learning, you know, throughout the days and We're learning the truth, tapping in, you know. And that's why he went. Then what did he do? Once he was liberated and understood enough, what did he do? He went to T'Challa. He said, you know, you need to give everybody weapons. What he was trying to say was, give everybody the sword, which is talking about wisdom, understanding.
Well, this is a spiritual war, and they tell us that we've got to wear the armor of God, God's armor. Which
exactly, and that's why Killmonger said. That's why T'Challa said, "No, I ain't about to have everybody. I'm not the king of everybody. I'm the king of Wakanda." What he was saying was, you know, I only got the remnant that I'm supposed to have, 2/3 of the world.
Which is two-thirds. Two-thirds is 66.6%.
Exactly, and you know, 2/3 actually is only of Israel, but it's a whole more. That's just Israel. That ain't even talking about the whole world.
So do you think that's why Michael Jordan got the 23 jersey and LeBron?
Well, I mean, 23 too is like coming into the higher truth, because it's a lot to that. You know, 23 is when you vibrate it, it goes into what? It goes into the 6, which is the fire, the high wisdom.
And people forget this as well, that Lucifer came down to earth with 33.3% of the angels. That's meaning 66.6% are still in heaven with God.
Exactly.
So 666 is not as bad as people say if you think of it that way.
That's why I was saying at the beginning that when we start talking, when you understand the beast, remember talking about the calculating the 666, it means calculating the name, which is Lewis, that should be blasphemed. You know? That's what that was talking about.
Can you do me a favor here? I was going to save this for another one, but can you really, like in 5 or 10 minutes, can you break down Black Panther? Because that video I watched with Wakanda Forever, and he basically does the skull and bones sign, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And
so your knowledge of the Black Panther and Wakanda and Chadwick Boseman is scarily good.
Let's even get out of the Chadwick Boseman. Let's take it back to the 60s. And notice in the 1970s, I'm gonna break this down to you, because I used to follow the Black Panthers. I'm talking about the organization. So Tupac, you know, his mama and Snoop Dogg's dad was connected together in the Panther 21, which was so staged and fake. Because like, how would both of their sons become superstars and down the line 20 years later rule hip hop? It don't even add up. You know,
that's true.
It don't add up. So let's even get out of that. When you understand the Panther, as it's written, the Babylonian whore rideth upon the beast that will betray her. You know, as it's written, that will betray her. Now,
do you know how important that word "will" is? It's so important. Like "will," it's like it's written. It will happen, and "will" is like will is also strength. When you have the strength and will to do something.
Exactly. Hint, Will, I am William. So when you look at the Black Panthers, they use the fist because, you know, how they, like, you know, as it's written, this is how deep it is. Remember Beetlejuice?
Yeah, you had to say his name 3 times.
Okay, exactly. So Beetlejuice is all symbolic of remember he had the burnt man on there that looked real burnt up.
Yes.
Car accident.
And you had Beetlejuice would wear a black and white suit for Duality as well.
Hey, you remember the people on there you remember on there, people didn't know what was going on. They didn't know they were dead.
No clue, They were oblivious.
Yeah, and the whole thing, they want to keep us spiritually dead. You remember how the lady started standing up at the table under mind control? Yeah,
and that's why Biden said that he's coming for the US's spirit and soul.
Exactly. The whole objective is to become a U.S. citizen, because as it is, Israel is referred to as us. Remember, the Most High said, "Let us."
Yeah, the U.S. The U.S. is like us, isn't it? U.S. us.
Yeah, exactly. And then what's so deep is going back to the Panthers. Now, the Beetlejuice. When you understand that, remember in the 1960s, you had Rolling Stones and the Beatles come out at the same time.
And the Rolling Stones has the old mocking tongue for Satan.
Nah, the Rolling Stone is that too. Is that because it's using that spirit to blaspheme? Because the Rolling Stone is talking about how the Messiah will roll back up and become ruler of the altar.
Yeah, there's so much symbolism with stone, because wasn't Jesus the rock?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. That's what he is. So it's like when you understand the headstone thing, he rolls back to become the headstone.
So when the Georgia Guidestones came down, was that mocking Jesus, or was that a good sign in your opinion?
That was just talking about like tearing down their you know, that whole thing was about what? The whole thing was about one world order thing. It was just like basically idols shall come down, you know?
Yeah, because it
And
was on 7/6 on George Bush's 76th birthday, and Skull and Bones is 76.
Exactly. It's all the blasphemy that hint Joe Biden won. Remember King Von had to die off out in Georgia, and Joe Biden won. He became president when he won Georgia.
And Martin Luther King, who died 4/4/68, was born in Atlanta, Georgia as well.
Exactly. So that whole thing is, there's just no way around it, man. Like when you look at it, how deep this goes, going back to the Black Panther, the fifth, it all goes back to Haru. You know, the mother Babylon son.
Yeah,
you know
somebody,
what I mean?
a guy called Diego's saying Miyu, I think, in the chat. So what?
Yeah, Haru.
I think so. Maybe my eyes are going on me, but explain.
Yeah, Haru is like all like it's like in pagan Egypt, it's blasphemy of the Messiah thing. So it's the mother Babylon's son. So when you look at it, you know, they do the black fist, the power fist of Haru. So it's all like power to the people. That's why the Black Panthers always push power to the people.
There was two wrestlers. There was two wrestlers called Cesaro and Jack Swagger, and their whole thing was "We the people," and the whole audience would say it.
We the Masons. Yeah, Masons. Yeah, we the Masons.
Is that basically what they're saying there? We the Masons.
Yeah, we the people. We the Masons.
Wow.
That's why that's why they use the power to the people thing with the Black Panthers, because the Babylonian whore rideth upon pride, upon the beast, which is the mixed leopard, which is all going back to the one world order thing pushed by Obama. And the whole thing, and that's how deep this stuff goes, because Obama is just a vessel. The man is a vessel, you know. Like what I mean by that is just like it's that spirit on him. And they all praise him. If you look at it, I put it even before, like going back to before he was even known. Back in high school, he wore number 25, and his high school was called Punahu, and Punahu literally just means the tree of death. You feel me?
And 2/5, February the 5th, which is Ronaldo and Neymar's birthday, is the 36th day of the year, and 666 is the 36th triangular number. Pope Francis was born in 36. And 2/5 goes back to like the Book of Revelation, where basically you can take out basically a quarter of the world, which is 25%.
Exactly. So you see, right? Exactly. So that's what I'm saying, and that's what he's all about, and that's what that whole thing is for, man. It's that real, like that Panther spirit is strong, because when you understand T'Challa, they in Africa, which is blasphemy where altar is. They're like, because Obama come out of his people come out. His dad comes out of Kenya, and his mom is Jewish, false Jew, the synagogue of Satan, as it's written in Revelation 3:9. Those who call themselves Jews but are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. They running it all, and then you look at it. Obama got to have that. His mother is from Kansas, blaspheming how the whirlwind thing. That's why he had to end up in Chicago, which is called the Windy City, which is all blaspheming.
Yeah, I used to live in Chicago, Chi-Town.
Yeah, see, Satan, the Prince of Air, and you can feel it because I was living on the North Chicago side with the Latin King territory, and you can feel that. I was over there with the Russians and the Latin Kings.
It's funny how they kept saying how coronavirus is airborne.
Yeah, exactly. It's all.
And why do you think they kept canceling flights where they're in the air?
But what they were trying to say is it's airborne because how the Messiah, when I say about the lung damage, about when he's able to breathe. I mean, when you think about it, when you're on top of the world and you're ruling, you got to be able to breathe. You got to be, stand upon Mount Zion, the Lamb upon Mount Zion. You have to be able to breathe.
You got Zion Williamson as well.
And he's in Louisiana. Why? Because it's all blasphemy of the Messiah.
Lewis again, Lewis.
Yeah, Zion, the son of William.
Zionism.
Zion. Yeah, Mount Zion.
Mount
Zion. The son of William. It's basically saying, William, I am that I am, shall rule Zion.
And they always call Zion Williamson a beast as well, don't they?
And what jersey number he wear? Number 1.
Yeah, he's got the 1.
And then notice too on 2K21, you had on that video game.
It's the front cover, wasn't it?
2K20. Yeah, he was on the front cover, Damian Lillard and Kobe. And if you look at it, if you look up the covers, you will see Damian Lillard got his hand on his thigh, and Zion got his hand on his thigh, and Kobe does too, because that all deals with the oath. And as it's written, the Messiah upon his thigh has King of Kings, Lords of Lords. That's what it'd be in the kingdom. That'd be marked upon his thigh. Your thigh is your strength.
Yeah, that's why they win the NBA. They get crowned champions. And
exactly.
Zion Williamson is like William's son.
Exactly.
And Prince William's son is called George, like the Georgia Guidestones.
Yeah, see, and that's how it is, man.
My brother's called George as well.
Exactly.
My youngest brother's called George. It's like, what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's how it is, because you see, that's why in Houston, that's why the Messiah was born in 1976 out in Texas. Houston, when you look at this, Houston's called the Space City, hence the powers of heaven.
Houston, we have a problem.
Exactly, the Space City, and then hence the powers of heaven. That's why it's called that. And that's why in 1976 they had the first tattoo convention, which is talked about how it talks about how the Messiah will place markings upon the saints. And Satan will mark his people too. You got to have a mark of Satan, because in the kingdom.
Is this connected to the mark of the beast or what?
Yeah, but it's all blaspheming. The marking that will be placed upon us, that's placed upon the saints spiritually.
Yeah.
Now in Satan's kingdom, it's in the flesh. You feel me?
Yes.
But in the kingdom, it's what is in the spirit. That's why they want to get it in your blood. When they come out, you got to receive the mark of the beast. They said it got to go in your blood,
Yeah, your blood, yeah. The blood of Christ. The blood of Christ.
And your blood is your soul, your light, you know what I mean?
And that's why Little Nas X sold 666 pairs of Nike satanic shoes, which had blood in the soul.
Exactly. Yeah,
human blood in the soul. The soul. The blood was in the soul of the shoe. And Little Nas X gave a lap dance to Satan in a video.
Yeah,
and X in Roman numerals is 10, like Satan.
But X is a Christ symbol. X marks the spot.
X marks the spot. Yeah.
It's all duality. You feel me?
That's the biggest thing I'm learning from you here. And X is the 24th letter of the alphabet, Kobe's jersey number.
Exactly. And that's how deep it is, man. And it's like when you understand that whole thing with the X marks the spot.
And triple X is pornography as well.
Oh yeah, that's why they utilize it for that, because it's blaspheming the creation. It's blaspheming the marriage between the Messiah.
Exactly, but they call it triple X.
The bride of heaven.
And Vince McMahon bought the XFL, didn't he?
Yeah.
Which basically means Satan Football League. The X for me well, I know it's duality, but the XFL, he could have called it any letter before. He had to use XFL.
Exactly. It's all satanic, but it's to blaspheme what's righteous. Like it said, woe unto them who call evil good and good evil.
And XFL in Gematria is 42, like the beast reigns for 42 months as well.
Yeah, it's how it is, man. It's non-stop blasphemy. It's like that's why I said they have so much. That's why the Most High said it can't be forgiven for that, because think about it, you're literally attacking the kingdom of heaven. Like you said, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence daily.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. So before we finish this, man, I've literally been working all day since like 8 a.m. But this has been because I've got my own coaching company. I teach English. I did a live stream earlier. I had to. I was sorting out future coaching sessions. I was doing all sorts of stuff, doing codes for stuff. But like to end this now, we've been going, mate, 3 hours and 9 minutes. Like I could talk to you. Oh my word, 33 in the live, 30 likes. You're 333, and Brady retired with 333 days left in the year.
And shout out to everybody who watched and everyone who even tuned in.
Yeah, I will say that as well. Yeah, thank you to everybody who's listened. That Sorry, I haven't read all your comments, but this guy I'm speaking to, Hide and Seek TV, absolutely exceptional, incredible, just off the charts. And if you haven't learned something today from both of us, then I don't know what to say. You must have learned something, or at least question something that you haven't questioned previously.
Oh yeah, we covered so much.
We did, mate. This is so. What's your YouTube channel? Hide and Seek TV.
Yeah, you got it. I'm gonna send. Can I send you the link right now, and then you just?
Yeah, I already put it in the description, but
okay.
I'll do it again now. I'm gonna put it in the chat. I've got it up because I was watching your videos. So
yeah, I got so much, and they can always request too, like in the comment section. My Instagram, you can link that in there as well.
Absolutely. I can do that because that's something that really you're not really getting any following on Instagram, are you? You got a really nice following on YouTube, over 3,000, which is not easy to get when you're actually genuine. It's not easy to get 3,000 people. And
that was a blessing, man. I remember I only had 100 or like 50, but I kept going.
Yeah, you did, because you're speaking God's words, mate, and they don't want us doing that in this realm right now. They don't want that. No.
This is a time, and I'm trying to gather as much as they can. This is the time of the great division. That's what's happening, because like it's written, the Messiah bring the sword to divide
and conquer. Divide and conquer.
Yeah. Good and evil got to be separated. That's why he said enemies to be within our own households. We won't have.
But they also say by the enemies in your households that God's actually plans that, and there's a deeper purpose to it. When
it'd be people. That's why he told us we can't put no creation before him, because he might take you away from what you thought was right or what you thought was love, and put you around where you might be alone, or you might be, blessed to.
But John the Baptist needed solitude, didn't he? When he got sent to the island, he needed that, and he had utmost faith in God, and he basically spreaded the message of God, which didn't, like, looking back, it didn't make any sense that he could do it, but he had complete faith that the message would be shared, and he needed that. Like, he needed to be basically alone and away from everything to truly get close to God, and that's the ultimate thing, I think, for me. Everything else is just.
I'm gonna get there too, and everybody in who listening, and everybody who did tune in are going to get there as well. Lord willing, we just got to just keep coal mining as much as we can, and I know everybody ain't going to be doing videos. Somebody might be blessed to sew clothes, but that's a blessing to somebody else. Somebody might have a talent of whatever, singing, whatever. But it's like we all able to, like, if they can, like how we got to look at it, if they can do all this evil, we can use our talent to do just as much greater good.
Yeah, I always say, whatever your talent is, share it with the world.
Yeah, don't be afraid of it, because it's like, if we sit here and like, oh man, they just attack. Like, okay, we got the armor of God on. They attacking us. Yeah, we might get a little scar on our finger, on our forehead, whatever. But we ain't gonna die.
Yeah. Well, what do you do to what do you say to somebody who knows that they can never die? Well, I believe in my head that I will never die, and I'm not afraid of the vessel, the avatar Adam Edwards going. I just know that I truly believe that I will never. My spirit, which is, I put my spirit above everything else, will never die. So I am literally, like my friend Nathan, my best friend. He said to me for a while now, he had an awakening years ago, but never really shared it with me. But he has since now I've had one. He always said, I knew you were going to wake up. I just knew. And he was talking to me about how sometimes, Adam, you've just got to eat the popcorn. You've just got to have the popcorn and enjoy the show. And he said, sometimes you've got to do that. There's a time and place where you've just got to eat the popcorn.
Yeah, that's why Michael Jackson showed that on Thriller. Remember, the dead in Christ shall rise first. That's why he was eating the popcorn, watching the show.
Yeah, he's eating the popcorn. There's the gif of it where he's eating the popcorn in the movie theater.
You know how deep the popcorn is? It's because the popcorn is formed out of what? The popcorn is formed out of grain.
Grain, yeah.
And as it's written, the righteous is as wheat and the wicked is as the tares, disrupting the wheat. That's why, when you look at how grain and wheat grow in the field, tares grow with it, and this messes up the wheat. That's why the Messiah said that he gathers up his wheat and put them away in a barn, meaning that he stores away and keep us protected. Hence, we should dwell in the house of the Lord for all our days. And hence, the whole theme is, build us a house. That's why Charlie, remember I was talking about Charlie? That's why Charlie Brown built the house for Snoopy. Because hence the Lord is our shepherd, hence the dog. Remember Will Smith was always with the dog on I Am Legend, I Am Legend. And
I Am, yeah. And what about going back to the grains and stuff? Do you remember the Dust Bowl in the 1930s?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which was a massive drought, which was, I think it was in North America and or the Central Plains, I think, and then everyone had to move basically to like Los Angeles because they lost all their money and the houses got destroyed, and that was again because they overgrazed the land, and then there was no way of basically planting seeds and growing on it. So again, the Dust Bowl was just insane, man. Absolutely insane. Like the economic losses were just off the charts from that.
Oh yeah, see, no grain, and when you look at it, at that whole thing, the tares, as it's written, will be destroyed by the fire, which is talking about the wicked on a day of destruction. And the whole thing, how deep this stuff is. You know what I mean?
It's crazy deep, mate. It's deep water. But it's knowledge is power, isn't it?
Yes, sir. As it's written, that's our power is what in having the liberation and understanding. As it's written, having understanding, and my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Yes.
And in Isaiah 5:13, the Most High said, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Therefore, hell has enlarged herself and opened their mouth to swallow them. And their leaders have their leaders are all dried up and dying of thirst." What it's saying is how people are caught up in the lie, caught up in deception, ain't studying. He told us to study to show ourselves approved. So if we don't know nothing and we ain't trying to learn, we were just rejecting it. As he said, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Therefore, you rejected the wisdom. Therefore, I'm going to reject your children. You reject my law, I will reject your children as well. Meaning that your generations will keep going through this. Think about how many generations our families have gone through that didn't know none of this. That lived their whole life not knowing none of this, not seeking the Most High, not trying to change their life, and then they die. Then their kids go through it. Then they keep going through it. Then they have kids. Then they die. Then it just keeps going on. We done been probably through so many generations.
It's a beast system, isn't it? You're born into a beast system of deception from birth.
Yeah, and you just keep recycling it.
So when you're talking about recycling, you're talking here about basically coming back from the dead or being reborn, or
well, I mean, just going through your generations too, like your family. That's our families. Blood in. Blood out. I ain't talking about like the Masonic way of saying it, but I mean in like
I know what you're saying.
Flesh. Like in the flesh sense, flesh of flesh. So it's like our family. Think about it, we're going through this. Your children are your reward. We're supposed to lead up. There's written, lead your children from hell. Do not spare the rod. Spare the rod, lead the child away from hell.
And God wanted you to reproduce, doesn't he? Where Satan wants depopulation.
Oh yeah, that's why you look at people now. I know so many men
don't want kids.
Just women. It's men who are saying, "Man, I don't want no kids." But man, that's our power is children. Because we able to raise and keep our life and our lineage going.
Yeah, and you talk about the grains, and then it's your seed, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's just once the movie Saw, I remember I watched years ago. Remember Billy the puppet?
Yeah, the main character is Jigsaw. Basically, this life that we live in is basically a puzzle. It is a jigsaw that we're trying to piece together.
That was talking about the puzzle, and that's why they were all dying brutal deaths, because how the soul was being crucified. The soul. That was talking about the spiritual death you're going through. Billy was the puppet, remember?
Billy's also a character from Stranger Things as well, who got killed.
Exactly. You remember he was always riding the bike, hit the wheel within the wheel.
Yeah, he was always on a bike, and he had a massive ego as well, which is one of the deadly sins. Like,
yeah, but no, that ego that they try to make him portray, and they always try to say he's a bully because he has the strength of the lion. You know, and he comes to who we know who he is. So they try to say, okay, he's a hole. You know,
yeah. That's true.
Oh, Willie, you know, William think he's better than us. I forgot what was it in 1976. The Ghostbusters came out. It was a cartoon, and Ghostbusters.
With the Ghostbusters, wasn't there 4 of them as well for another 4? Was there 4 of them? Ghostbusters and Slimer? I think there was 4 Ghostbusters.
I can't remember because I didn't really get too much into them, but I know like Ghostbusters literally mean like, you know, they want to prevent the Holy Spirit from manifesting on the saints and upon the Messiah. So they had a Ghostbust, and then on there in 1976, they said Lewis. I always put in my videos. There's like Lewis. They said, "Yo, we ain't scared of you." They said, "You get rid of your supernatural powers, we can defeat you." What they were saying, if you ain't got that Holy Spirit, you won't be talking all that ego. You know, since you know who you are, you higher than us. If you ain't got that Holy Spirit, we can kill you like we did the first time. You know, remember when he was crucified, he gave up the ghost. Remember?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. So do you believe the most powerful things we possess are the things you can't see, like your consciousness and your spirit and your soul?
Oh yeah. It's like the stuff, like you say, you know, that's why the Most High said that love is the principle above all, because, you know, loving him, you know, and having faith in his son, loving him, and then loving that neighbor, because he said, how can you love me if you don't love the God that you can't see when you got a brother in front of you can see?
Oh, the guy that I created.
Yeah, you can't even see me, but
is that why John Cena says you can't see me?
Yeah, it's high level blasphemy.
Where he does that and covers his face.
Yeah, he's a trip, man. John Cena is.
Oh, he comes down to the ring, doesn't he? And he puts up the 2 6s, the 666.
Yeah, exactly. He do the W a lot. Word life, he do the W, because you know the W is 6 in the Yiddish.
Ah, you know? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Remember Tupac threw up W's, West Side. Like, come on.
Yeah, no, they say it was West Side. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah.
Yeah, they want us on the left hand side of God, or we furthest away from him. Yeah.
Ah, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, man. That's why the whole battle was east, because as it's written in the scriptures, Messiah shining from the east unto the west. That's why they had the East and West Coast beef in the 90s. You know.
Yeah, but that was also divide. That was also divide and conquer as well.
That too. It was that too. But the ultimate plan. But hear me out. This is how deep it is. Notice. I'm gonna explain this real quick while we got a little time. You know, I said how the Messiah shined from the east unto the west, right?
Yes.
So yes, divide and conquer, but you know, against the average person who don't know what's going on. But in reality, the masonry behind that is, okay, you know, he's leveling up, so we got to create this. So what they do, they create that, and then, you know, as it's written, he rises out of the southern kingdom of Judah. You know, you have the northern kingdom of Israel and the southern kingdom, the split, you know. So he rises out of the southern kingdom, which is Judah, out of the house of David. That's why after the East Coast, West Coast beef, who took over hip-hop? The South. And who was the main groups? Outcasts.
Yeah, you got Andre 3000, yeah.
Yeah, they want us to be outcast out the kingdom, and then.
Well, does outcast connect to Lucifer being casted out of heaven?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said they want us as outcasts of the kingdom. They don't want us in the kingdom. You know.
And you know, Yeshua can be called Yah.
Yeah.
And then they had the song Hey Ya, Hey Ya.
Yeah. Remember they said Ice Cold.
Yeah, Ice Cold 3000. Yeah.
Remember they was talking about the girl, the bride Israel. They was trying to disrupt her. What album was that on? That was on Speaker Box. But remember, what was it? Above and Below. I think it was called Speaker Box.
Yeah, it was called Speaker Box. Yeah, and then they also had the most iconic song is Miss Jackson, like Steven Jackson. His last name Jackson, Michael Jackson. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson.
That Jackson thing was just talking about the son of, Jackson, the son of Jacob, right? Israel.
Yeah, and it also had the owl in the video, which is about wisdom.
Yeah, hint the whole thing though. Yeah, exactly, Moloch. But
Moloch,
whole thing was like, hint the whole thing, Mother Jerusalem is the mother of us all. So that's why I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. They was talking to Mother Jerusalem, blaspheming.
Well, and Jerusalem has USA in the middle.
Exactly. That's why we're in the USA. That's how deep this goes. And you know, in America, it's like about the prophecy how Israel should rise up out of America, and they hit the whole thing. How they was like, "Sorry, Miss Jackson, that meant they may take your daughter cry." The daughter was talking about Israel crying because what he was trying to say is we led her to death. That's why the Most High said in Revelation that He's going to wipe the tears away from Israel's face.
Wow! So people are all we hear is a catchy tune, and most people don't break down lyrics, do they? I've started breaking down a lot of. I could do a whole live stream breaking down songs and the actual meaning behind the lyrics. But the Miss Jackson, that's amazing what you've just done there. Wow.
Yeah, remember that song "Roses"? Some of your boo boo smell like roses, smell like boo boo.
Yeah, they had a song called "Roses."
Exactly what that was talking about. As it's written, the Most High said that when you're unclean, He's like, "Yo, you're unclean. Get away from me. You're a stench in my nostrils." And He breathed life. He's like, "You're unclean." He won't. He said He'll hide up His face.
Yeah, so because in that video with Roses, there was two rival gangs fighting each other for the duality again.
Exactly.
It's like Speaker Box, the Love Below, whatever it was, and they were going at each other like the rivals.
Yeah, the Love Below is talking about the Hell Kingdom.
Hell, yeah, the Love Below was hell, yeah. Speaker Box might be connected to like the trumpets or loud.
The false alarm, the false trumpets. That's why on the song he was like Caroline derives out of Kara.
And didn't Michael Jordan play college ball for North Carolina?
That's why they all had to come out. That's why Stephen Curry, all of them had to come out of the Carolinas.
Carolina.
When you understand basketball, the best basketball players come out of the Carolinas. South and North Carolina.
Yeah, you got the North and the South again. I'm just going to say thank you so much, Carly Pink Joseph, for the £2. It means a lot. That gets me a couple of Greg pasties in England, so I appreciate that.
Bless.
Yeah, bless her. Carly Pink Joseph's an amazing girl. So what were you going on about with the North and the South then?
Oh yeah, so I'm gonna go right to it real quick. So like the Caroline part, right there, like Caroline, he said, "I hope that she's in her car." He said, "I hope that she's in her car."
Again, going back to the wheels.
Yeah, and then he said to Kara, he said, "I hope she's in her car, looking in the mirror, putting on her makeup, looking in the mirror." And remember 1 Corinthians 13:16, I look in the mirror and see who I am. So that's why he said that. And he said, "I hope she fall in a ditch and crash."
Wow, crash into a ditch. And also, Caroline, the song, God is the Almighty, and I'm pretty sure that it says all the girls would say that Caroline's mighty fine. Mighty, like the Almighty.
Yeah, exactly. Because as it's written, the whole world marvel at the Israel. Hence, Brutus versus Popeye. Remember, Popeye represents the Messiah. Hence, he eats the tree of life, the spinach, and then he battle against Brutus. That's when Brutus represents Lucifer.
Bro, and check this out for duality. What about the line where it goes basically, "But mighty fine only got you somewhere half the time," and it's like, and the other half either got you something like cussed out or coming up short or something.
Exactly.
Cussed out or coming up. So that's duality as well.
Well, it's more so trying to say, okay, look, since you think you're so beautiful, trying to make it to the kingdom, Israel, you're going to fall into a ditch. He's saying you're going to go into hell because basically, the Most High is going to reject you because you're unclean.
So is that the lake of fire?
Yeah, exactly. That's why he said, you think you're beautiful, which Israel is written is the light of the world. So it's like, they like, yo, you think you all of that, but you really going into hell because we're leading you there.
Wow.
The whole objective of Satan is to destroy the kingdom of heaven. And what is his job?
But he can't. I think he already knows he can't, but he's too stubborn.
No, he can. He can because he is destroying Israel because 2/3 are going to be cut off and die out of Israel. So that's the kingdom of heaven right there. It's written, Israel is the kingdom of heaven. So his goal is to try to lure as many people as he can to hell. So
that's what I'm saying, but he can't completely destroy it. He can.
Oh, no. He knows he can't.
That's what I'm saying. He knows that, but he's got. I always use this analogy of Scarface, where Tony Soprano. What was his name from Scarface?
Tony Montana. You know, that was the Messiah blasphemy too.
Yeah, but he knew there was a time in the movie where Tony Montana, Al Pacino, knew he was about to die, so he tried to kill as many people as he could with him.
Yeah, but that's all blasphemy too, because hint the whole thing, Al Pacino, hint Al, you know, and Elohim,
Elohim, yeah. L is connected to
and then, hint Scarface, hint Messiah, you know, got the crucifixion, hint he's the face of God. And they remember when did Scarface become popular? Remember he had the chainsaw in the movie? Because that whole thing with the chainsaw, hint Messiah is a great carpenter.
And then you got and then going back to Texas, you got the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And
blasphemy.
Isn't El as well like a supreme god of the ancient world?
Exactly. It was all black. It was all left hand pagan, blaspheming how the Most High is the ruler. The
and
creator.
then you had a famous drug dealer in Mexico called El Chapo.
Exactly. And then the whole thing how you know, Scarface. You know what I mean? Scarface. Remember when did he become popular? When he met Sosa. Hence Sosa mean of the sea. You know, the salt.
Wow, yeah, and the main character twins, the
Dumbledore,
which is the first master number as well, 11.
Exactly, and you can't. It's hard talking to average people about it. They think you're crazy. You know, people that thought that with me, like, man, you make stuff out of everything. I'm like, look, I'm just trying to show you what's been going on, but
so
you don't gotta hear it.
You know the Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
And the main character's Elijah Wood. That's got to be biblical, no?
Oh yeah, it's all showing how the Messiah. Remember, Billy was the Hobbit, so it's all showing how the Messiah was going to gain his kingdom, the ring, the circle of life.
So is Gollum Satan, where it says "my precious"? Like he wants the ring? Is that like he wants the world, the universe?
Yeah, it's probably more likely is because Elijah Wood, Elijah, as it's written before the return of the Messiah, I sent of Elijah. That's why during the scriptures, during the time of when John the Baptist came on the scene, they was like, "Yo, are you Elijah? Because you're the one who's declaring he's the Lamb of God."
Was John the Baptist beheaded?
Yes, that was his death. Yeah, that was during the time when he disputed against the marriage, which is very deep. I'm actually gonna start doing a deep study. I'm been led to study John the Baptist. I'm gonna do a deep study on.
I've also got a brother called John.
Yeah, John the Baptist was.
I can't believe this. Adam.
Man.
My name's Adam, and I have my closest brother's called John, like John the Baptist and Adam and Eve.
Yeah, like Adam. Yeah, Adam is serious because Adam, as it's written, out of Adam come about man, even my seed that I call.
And Adam's like atom, which is
exactly the atoms. Yeah, ruler, dominion, king. But it's the temptation we got to overcome. Imagine if you had that power to overcome temptation, and that's the only thing that really weakens humans is temptation. If we can control our,
that's why it says deliver us from temptation.
Exactly, and that's why the main fruit of the spirit was self-control. Is self-control. The main fruit of the spirit is self-control and temperance. Because
greed is one of the 7 deadly sins, isn't it? Greed.
Oh yeah, exactly. And anger and wrath and things of that nature all fall in that too. Lust. I mean, we going into all of that. All of that stuff. Self-control. Everything that we just named all goes back to self-control.
The fact is, God gives us free will, which means He gives us the ability to control our urges. It's on us.
Yeah, exactly, and choices.
Yeah, we always have a choice, and people say I didn't have a choice. We always do. And do you remember the band called The Temptations from the 80s? I think.
The 60s. The 60s. Yeah, they got one in there. You have to watch that video, bruh. I'm talking about the level I got on you.
But you've done a video about The Temptations?
I'm gonna send it to you, bro. It's deep.
Wow.
I broke it down. I'm gonna send you that because that's something, man. When I did that video, I was just so appalled by it because that's something I grew up on. You feel me?
Yeah, The Temptations, amazing voices.
Oh man, everybody, Eddie Kendrick, Dennis Edwards, David Ruffin, Paul Williams.
Yeah, just incredible talent.
It's limitless. That's like the number one group like out of the so-called blacks, like that right there, that group did a lot of. They literally elevated Motown.
I agree with that.
Because through them came what, all the other groups rose up. Because David Ruffin was some people ain't never heard that.
And remember you remember obviously Macaulay Culkin, who starred in Home Alone, he starred in My Girl, and My Girl was sung by the Temptations. My girl, talking about my girl.
Yeah,
great song.
See that, you hear me out, and that whole thing, David. Remember David in the scriptures? Remember how David had the temptation to deal with Bathsheba, which was his loyal soldier Uriah's
and
wife.
Satan tempted Jesus 40 days and 40 nights during when he was in the desert. And he failed, yes. Satan failed.
Messiah upheld it. But David, remember, he fell into that temptation and slaughtered had his own friend knocked off just so that he can get his wife. That's what the whole Temptations was about, the group. That's why it was called the Temptations, and David became the leader. And you remember he replaced the guy. I think the guy he replaced, his name was L, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow, I don't know that.
Yeah, bro, I'm gonna send you that video. It was that right there. I was like, man, this is crazy.
And talking about L and how L's connected to so many things. What animal has the best memory? An elephant has the best memory. Exactly. They don't forget anything. Wisdom, knowledge, like they don't forget anything. Elephants.
Yeah, if you do an elephant, you treat it right as a baby, and it grow up, it's gonna love you.
Yeah, and then you got the Disney movie. You got the Disney movie Dumbo as well, which is an elephant.
Yeah, exactly. Remember Jay-Z mentioned that on the story of OJ.
Yeah, and I think Black Eyed Peas had some sort of album connected to elephant.
Yeah, they was a trip. Hint Will I Am.
Yeah, and then Fergie.
Yeah, I did a live break. I got like 500 something videos, so it's so many videos. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely see that Temptations one, man. And
yeah, 100%, mate.
That right there, that was it messed with me. Like stuff like that was like, not messed with me, but I was just like, wow, like I really the Most High let me see. Yeah. I was like Eddie Kendricks. Eddie Kendricks, man, was one of the greatest voices I ever heard.
Yeah, my mum loved all the 60s and 70s. She would play it all, and I came across stuff like the Temptations. And going back to the Black Eyed Peas, they had an album called Ellie Funk, and
the funk. You remember the 80s? No, 70s, 80s was funk the funk era, because remember we just talked about Caroline. Remember the funk? They want you covered up in uncleanliness so that they can. The Most High reject you. That's why in the 70s, funk had to rise up. They knew
brilliant.
The Messiah's coming on the scenes.
Well,
he was on the scene. Yeah.
This Black Eyed Peas album was released June the 24th, which is when Freemasonry was founded in England, and Lionel Messi's birthday.
Lionel Messi. Look at Lionel. The Lionel hit the whole thing that all go into that whole blast of the Lewis too.
Yeah, exactly. And it was released. It was their third studio album as well. That 3 again. Released by the will.i.am music group and A&M Records.
What year?
Texas A&M. It came out 2003.
Yeah, see, that's crazy.
You're 23. And Black Eyed Peas. Have you come across the Black Eyed Club? Where all these celebrities have black eyes.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because that's all blaspheming about the Sanhedrin when the Messiah got beat up in it.
Yeah, I thought it was that, but they're called Black Eyed Peas. Like the Pope got a black eye, didn't he? All these top stars get black eyes, and they all have bullshit stories for why they got them.
Exactly, all becoming your God. You gotta go. You gotta damage the flesh. You know what I mean? And the Messiah said he endured. He takes the stripes for our sins. That's why they gotta get the black eyes.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
That is crazy. But that whole thing, that Black Eyed Peas and all that stuff was sick, man.
Yeah, and the peas stuff might go back to like Jack and the Beanstalk.
Oh yeah, but the pea, Kobe was called the bean. Hint the Messiah, as it's written, he is the bud. Hint the bud, he sprouted out. He's the seed of Israel. He's the seed out of the house of David. Hint the bean, the pea. It's all the same.
Yeah, thing. And Kobe was called Kobe Bean Bryant, wasn't he?
Exactly. Yeah.
This
And why on Easter they go get jelly beans.
And one of the most famous actors or like characters in my lifetime from England is Rowan Atkinson, who played the role of Mr. Bean.
Oh yeah. See, Mr. Bean. Hint, your boy Lionel Messi. Hint, Lionel derived out of Lewis, and then hit Cristiano Ronaldo. Hint the Christian.
Yeah.
Christ and Lewis. That's why they always, who's the best? Cristiano Ronaldo or Lionel Messi.
Yeah, and they're completely different. Like one's left-footed, one's right-footed, one's tall, one's small. Like they come, like
it's no mistake.
One went to Barcelona, one was at Real Madrid, the biggest rivals maybe in the world. They had them. Yeah, and the energy, man.
Ronaldo
the energy
is a better team player, and Lionel Messi is like really like he's like I play like this. Lionel Messi is like LeBron, and Cristiano Ronaldo is like Kobe. You know.
Well,
like that.
No, I it might be the other way around for me. I think LeBron might be the Ronaldo, because LeBron did it with 3 different teams, didn't he? He's done it Miami, Cleveland, and the Lakers. And Ronaldo's done it for like Real Madrid, Juventus, and Man United. Messi basically, his whole career was at Barcelona until like this past year where he was in Paris.
Don't Ronaldo got more titles than Messi?
Messi has more Ballon d'Ors, like when it comes to like best player in the world, but I'm pretty sure Ronaldo probably. I'll have to check that. I would say it's probably Ronaldo has more titles than Messi. I would say
that's how I did that Kobe analogy. It comes out like that play style. Like when you look at it, like it's like Messi is huge. You know, like how LeBron is huge. Like LeBron, like skill wise, Kobe obviously is like. Kobe is more deadlier, but like when LeBron, he's more well-rounded. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like Kobe is more like defense, offense. LeBron is everything.
But like Leo Messi reminds me of like Steph Curry. You know, he's very elegant, and like you just can't you can't touch Curry. Give him the ball, it's like all right, he's going to get a 3. He's going to drive to the basket. You can't stop Steph, but he's elegant with it. Whereas like LeBron's a beast, and like LeBron can defend, he can dunk, he can block, he can hit threes now. He's an ultimate basketball player, LeBron. But for me, like Messi, I'm thinking like Steph Curry is just elegant, and you just can't touch him. It's like unplayable when he gets going. Steph's an okay. Steph can get turnovers and he somehow gets rebounds, but he's not known for that, is he? He's known as being a shooter and like the difference maker.
But see, he's known for that because that's what people just look at him. When you watch him, people actually watch him. It's like he can rebound, he can pass.
Oh yeah, if you look at statistics wise, yeah.
Yeah, he's there. It's just that he's always going to be known as a shooter because that's what everybody just see him do mainly. When they watch Curry, they want to see him shoot threes. You know?
Yeah, but so he can Curry can do anything.
Yeah, he changed the game because this is what I want to explain too. Notice through King James. Now look, notice through King James, which is serious, the name King James. Notice through him, you got, Zion rose up. Through him, the Curry rose up. Through him, you got Kevin Durant rose up. Through him, Derrick Rose rose. It's a lot.
Well, what about that name itself, Derrick Rose, like rising, like the Phoenix?
Oh yeah, the Derrick. Yeah, exactly. The Derrick. Derrick.
And he was a star at the Bulls, wasn't he? Like the Bulls, the Beast.
Yeah.
Now he's in New York.
Yeah, and you see how that's Chicago, the Bull. So you see how he Derrick means the oil, and then Rose, hint Messiah is like sprout up as the lily, hint as it's written in the Songs of Solomon, I am as Sharon's rose, I am the rose of Sharon.
And Elton John wrote a song, Candle in the Wind, for Princess Diana, who's like Goodbye England's Rose. And then that same song was for Marilyn Monroe. And then he also wrote this song for Lion King as well, The Circle of Life, Elton John.
Yeah, what she had Elton John, the high blasphemy and sodomite.
Oh, massive.
Rocket Man and all that. But
and there's another one, bro. Another one where they made a movie. They just brought out Rocket Man, didn't they, for Elton John? So
yeah, a few years ago, I remember Princess Diana had to die by a car crash.
Yeah, she died in Paris, France, and the middle name's Francis.
and think about the car crash.
And Paris, France is the home of the Jesuits, and the first Jesuit Pope Francis, France.
Yeah, this stuff is real, man.
It's happening, yeah, and it's not man. It's not man.
Now you see what I mean? It's the blasphemy. That's the spirit of blasphemy. Like it said, the beast has the spirit of blasphemy upon him to blaspheme the name of God constantly, in the names of blasphemy upon him. So I had that whole thing, the Babylonian horde.
So is that why people say Jesus Christ when they're like angry?
Yeah,
that's blasphemy.
That too. Yeah, they do that too. Yeah.
Wow, man.
To curse him, you know. And as it's written, he should be a curse for our sins. So hence the whole theme of, you know, yeah, that's what they always yell at, you know.
Yeah, you do. Well, people do it, don't they? Like you hear it all the time, every other day. Somebody saying
especially
that.
in a movie.
Oh, in movies, so often, yeah. And then what we see in the movies becomes basically reality.
It's predictive programming. It's predictive programming.
Predictive programming. Yeah, no doubt. Bro, I have like 4% left on my Mac. It's oh my word, it's 12:28 here. This has been absolutely incredible, mate. But we'll definitely do it again. I think people love this. I hope, guys in the chat, please share this. Please sub to him. He deserves it. We're giving 3-4 hours of our time here, like trying to inspire you. Like not that we want anything in return other than just spread this word, man. We're doing it now. I'm knackered. I'm so tired. But again, I push through because of my spirit. Physically, I'm done. Spiritually, I can do this live streams through my spirit, not my physicality. So I'm knackered now, physically tired. But again, the spirit destroys the physical world and the material world and all of that. So I'm gonna say thank you so much, Hide and Seek TV. I think you should get. I'm hoping I have a decent enough platform. I have like 5,500. I hope you can get at least a few hundred subs from this. I'll put it on my website. I know everybody on my website is going to sign up to you. That's 78 people, and it's growing. So, yeah, keep doing what you're doing. I'll watch more and more of your videos when I'll find time to do it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm gonna keep watching yours too. I'll be seeing, like I said, I'll be seeing you pop up all the time. You know, I got everything.
Thank you. And you can download this and put it on your YouTube.
Where would I download this from? Is this on YouTube or on your website or both?
This is on YouTube. My YouTube channel is connected to my website.
Okay. So perfect. I'm gonna download this and I'm gonna tag you in it too.
Yeah, perfect.
This is a long video, so yeah, this is a blessing.
This has been incredible, mate. Like the stuff we've covered here is like people would pay like, I don't know, $500 to a 6-week course. What we've just covered in less than 4 hours, mate. Seriously, the stuff we've covered here, the range of topics, and we had no plan in this. We just talked.
That's why I don't like doing a rehearsal.
It's fake.
Because you gotta let the spirit lead. And we can know what. We can know, I want to cover this, 76, we covered it, but look what else we covered out of everything.
We went
everything.
We went so many. Again, I'll use this analogy. We were dunking, we were taking 3-pointers, we wasn't missing from the free throw line. We were just a range of ways that we were scoring here. Just really
like I always say, we was able to beat Brady in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we just did Brady in the Super Bowl here.
Man.
Incredible. The lowest scoring Super Bowl ever, 13-3, which is the date Pope Francis became.
When he beat the notice why. And before we leave this, we definitely gonna chop it up some more. But it ain't the last time.
No,
we got a lot more to cover. But notice he was a patriot. The Patriots represent the Masons. And remember, the Rams represents the sheep of God. Notice
the Rams knocked him out, didn't they?
Yeah, that's why he had to win that. And then notice how the year that the Rams won a title, Brady's like, I'm about to retire, and then he come back out of it. So
yeah, he retired after 22 seasons with 7 rings and 227s, the 49th prime, and he supports the 49ers.
And I watched Brady. I didn't play with him on the games. I didn't watch Brady since. I was like a boy,
Yeah.
Growing up watching them like elementary, middle school. That's what we all used to watch.
Yeah.
Everybody, oh yeah, Brady about to play. He got Randy Moss. You know, I remember them days.
Nice.
And in tournaments, all of that. You know.
And what about the Patriots Act, which was signed in 2001 after 9/11, and 9/11 is where Brady came on the scene against the New York Jets, and the Jets
and you know
hit
what?
the
That's
Twin
crazy.
Towers.
Just said, and you know the Jets represent. That's why they suck. You know, notice the Giants always win. They won Super Bowls, but the
Jets get embarrassed, don't they?
You know why the Jets is that? Because they play at MetLife Stadium. MetLife means eternal life.
Eternal,
you know,
yeah.
And then the Jet, as is written, Messiah is caught up into the throne of God.
But you're going to find this interesting. The team I think that's going to win the World Series, which I've said for a while now, is the New York Mets.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah. The Mets is serious, too. I had talked about them on a video before. I got to go back because baseball is something. I had went to a few baseball games when I was out in Dallas for a while. I went to the Texas Ranger games. And I ain't going to lie, baseball, like, I went to the Luka Doncic playoff games.
Luka wears number 77, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he's the Maverick. That's why, you remember I told you Revelation 19, as it's written, Messiah rideth upon a white horse. That's why Curry had to beat the Mavericks.
Yeah, and Dallas playing white, don't they?
Exactly, white and blue. Blue is the order, law of order. So it's like, yeah, Luka, I ain't gonna lie, like, before we end this, though, Luka is a serious asset. His name is Luka. We're 77, and then, I mean, look at him, man. Luka is dominant. You know, that's like the first player you've seen come out of Europe who can do everything that guy.
Yeah, he's from Slovenia, I think, and Luka is an absolute beast. Like, when I was really into the NBA, I would always get him in player props, and he looks like he's going in slow motion, but you can't stop him. It looks like he's going slow motion.
Man, when I watched him live, I had it in a video on my channel. I was breaking some stuff down. I saw when I was watching him live, you can feel his presence.
Mate, his build as well is like, he's well built, is Luka. People call him fat, but he's well built, Luka Doncic.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying you can feel his presence like a god in there. The people are like, the way they was reacting, they're like, bring Luka back in. You know, they was going crazy.
Well, think how much energy that entity of Luka Doncic is getting.
Yeah.
And LeBron and Steph.
Yeah, see, Luka is like a baby, to them. Like, LeBron is like a god in there. Especially he was in Miami. He was like a god.
Oh, yeah. And then they had him with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, didn't they?
Oh, yeah, I broke that. Yeah, I broke them down. Yeah, like, Bosh means a furnace. And, like Messiah, like he's burnt in the furnace. And Miami Heat and Chris Christ. And then you got Dwayne Wade. And Wade means like Wade in the water. Remember, in Eastern, during the Exodus, Wade in the water and space. And then King James. That's what that whole thing was about.
And it had to be three of them as well, didn't it?
And hit 316 with their jerseys. Had Wade were 3, Bosh were 1, and Brown were 6.
Yeah.
316.
Yeah, that 316 again. Yeah, wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and 3 + 1 + 6 gets you back to your 10.
Yeah.
Phenomenal stuff, mate. Like.
Yeah. This stuff is deep, so yeah, we're gonna definitely chop it up. I'm gonna give me some rest too.
Yeah, same, mate.
Take care of it tomorrow, but yeah, man, hit me up. And everybody, like I said, you can see you got my name, like you said, you got in the description. You got my Instagram. You ever have questions? You got requests for videos. Like, I don't charge for it.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. I love you. I love your name, Hide and Seek, as well, because I think a lot of people hide from the truth and a lot of people seek it.
Yeah, and that was just deep how I came across that name. I was like, just something led me just to hide and seek.
It's just amazing. It's amazing name, Hide and Seek. It's one of my favorite games growing up as well, Hide and Seek.
Yeah, we always had a hide. Hint the Most High say he hideth himself.
Yeah, the funny thing is when you're seeking, before you get to seek, both your eyes are closed.
Mm-hmm. You see,
and then you open them up. When you open your eyes, that's when you seek. Like, that's why you open your third eye, your pineal gland. You're seeking that knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Your eye, your eye is single. Your body full of light. focused on choosing the path of life. So yeah, man, we're gonna definitely chop it up. It's been a blessing.
Yeah, please.
I really appreciate this, man. And
no, I appreciate you. This was absolutely incredible stuff. Thank you, and we'll do it again. And I'll drop you a message in the morning. I actually need to shower, mate. You know me. I coach straight into an English class. I had a bit of food, then I did the live stream. So I need a shower, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. Go ahead. Yeah, that's what's up, man. So yeah, we're gonna chop it up. And hey, message me again. And we was talking earlier about how Rona. Basically, when we were talking about the 186, I forgot what you said again. It was
I was saying that coronavirus was declared a global pandemic exactly 18 years and 6 months after 9/11, and then you had an amazing 186 with the speed of sound or something.
Speed of light, yeah.
Speed of light.
So yeah, thank you, man. So yeah, we're gonna holler, man. I'm gonna talk to you soon.
All right, mate. Much love. I'll message you in the morning. Thanks a lot.
All right, have a blessed night.
You too,
mate. Have a blessed night as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, bro. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh. Wow, it's like I am very blessed and fortunate that I am able to interact and communicate with people like him. Hide and Seek TV, Chuck Chulo, Jay Saul, even like Andre, the student who I did a live stream with. How these people are coming across me in my life and sharing the knowledge that I'm able to somehow process and memorize is an absolute blessing. So, like the Joseph live I've done, there's just so many now. Like I'm doing one with Lobo tomorrow, who's incredible. I'm looking to do one with Rambo. Very fortunate that people are up for speaking with me, man. And thanks to all of you again. It makes it a lot more interesting when there's an audience interacting and enjoying the content. Thanks to all of you who support me, guys. They're keeping me on this 5.35 subs. I'm trying to figure out what that number is, because I know it's not the actual number. Cause I get people every day saying, "I've just subbed you. I've just subbed you. It's like, have you? So it's not showing that. Like, yeah. Send me a screenshot that they did, and it doesn't appear. So, yeah, this was a marathon, especially because I did one earlier for about 2 hours. A quarter of my day today, I've basically done live streams for you. I don't get anything for it other than sharing this knowledge with you. So we're all gathering knowledge at the same time, including me from the callers that call in and from your comments. But I'm tired. I need a shower. I've been boom, 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 and I'm doing the same thing tomorrow. But well done on my website. If you got the Mets and you got the Blue Jays and put them together like some of you did. I'm not that bothered about sports, but those calls were pretty outrageous. So that's nice. May as well finish it here with 33 likes for the age I had my awakening. So thank you, Hide and Seek TV. His YouTube channel is in the description. And you can leave comments like he asked, where he said, if you want him to look into something, I'll look into it for you, because he's a genuine guy who cares about the truth and helping people. And you could tell that by the way he spoke. Blue Jays World Series. No, I've got my code on my website. Who I think is going to win it? I don't think the Blue Jays take it, no. All right, guys. Thank you, Surap. A lot of people are joining in August, which is that 8th month. Oh, I gotta go, man. I can't even speak anymore. Yeah, this was an incredible live. Thank you, Luis Lopez. Take care, all of you. Stay strong. Okay, God wins. Just focus on that spirit. It's the most powerful thing that you possess, okay? Never, ever forget that. Everything else is just whatever at this point. Build that spirit up. I'll try my best to help you with it. So take care. I'm off in the shower. It is 12:41. And I'm absolutely shattered. So take care. Thank you so much for all of your support. I'm going to keep pushing for you all. Cheers, guys. Much love.